7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast on a brand new day. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling energized? Happy to be alive? It's the 14th of October, 2025. Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you are listening to us from. In Alberton, in Bedfordview, in Benoni, in Boksburg. Are you in Centurion East or Centurion West? Maybe just in Edenvale or in Fours. It doesn't matter. We're all here for you to tell you what's going on in the world, to try and make sense of it. We'll have a few laughs along the way. My esteemed colleagues are here with me this morning. KG, starting the clock, playing music. Let's see what ARB songs he finds today. Baphelile Sambo and Samthanda Matiso are taking your calls as producers. Cindy will tell us everything we need to know about Bafana Bafana, the Proteas women, the Proteas men. Swisa Zulu has every eyewitness news update you need. And of course, Amora Mila is here on traffic. Good morning, young lady.
Good morning, Bongani.
Fingers crossed for Bafana Bafana today?
Absolutely.
Yeah? You think we can do it?
I hope we can. I'm hoping we can.
Muteo, you are invited to walk into that dressing room. What do you say to the boys? I'm trying to think at halftime. Do I want you at halftime or do I want you before the game starts?
I think before the game
What do you say to them?
Score more than 3 goals. It's very simple. Because they've had a great campaign, and because of this last game against Zimbabwe, now everybody's like, yeah, Bafana Bafana. But like, they've had a great campaign. They're not responsible for the admin, so that 3 points being lost is not their fault.
Just go play.
Just go play, finish the job, and then let's see what happens.
Do what you got to do. 072 702 1702. You are called in to the dressing room, yeah, Bafana Bafana, at, I don't know, 5:45, right? Because the kickoff is at 6 o'clock. At 5:45, they're asking you what you want to say to Bafana Bafana. And you know, if they just hear these words, no shame, they'll do the things. What are those words? Send us a WhatsApp voice note to 072 702 1702.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
On our menu today, we speak to the Human Rights Commission. Their attempt to halt the activities of Operation Dudula have themselves been halted by the Durban High Court on urgency. And so what does that mean then? Does this give Operation Dudula free rein to do what they've been doing? Are the Human Rights Commission making a mountain out of a molehill? You remember when we spoke to the MEC for Education in Gauteng, who said, look, there are not many incidents where these vigilantes have tried to prevent kids from gaining access to schooling facilities. But is it a growing problem? And what can the Human Rights Commission do about it now? We'll speak to them in the first hour of the show. And Mateo Khwaripa, no doubt you'll be interested in our big interview this morning. We're speaking to former Finance Minister Trevor Manuel. He and a number of influential figures, including the Nobel Economics laureate Joseph Stiglitz, are trying to get debt relief for African countries. On average, I think we spend something like 17% just dealing with debt. And they're saying if you were to cap it, at 10%, you'll free up so much money for so many other things that would stimulate African economies and make us even better.
Yeah.
Give us guarantees that we'll in fact pay the debt we do already have. Will anyone listen?
Yeah, it was a big talk ahead of the G20 happening next month. I know that the B20 wing of the G20 has been discussing how the interest rates are far, far higher for developing nations, which defeats the point, really, because you leave them in debt and they don't develop. So finding solutions around that is most important.
What mechanism should they find, these institutions, around making sure that the debt, the credit they give is paid back?
I think you have preferential rates, just as you do for Western partners, because they pay way less interest rates. But the argument is often, you have unstable economies. We need to make sure you can pay back the money. But I think there should be a cap. I think that's one of the good ideas.
All right, we'll speak to Trevor Manuel about that. And one of the questions I want to ask him, even from an economic point of view, do these institutions set up in that post-World War II order need a reset, and what possible role could South Africa play there? We'll also look at what transpired in the Middle East yesterday. It was a busy day, certainly on the international stage. We'll speak to Aisha Kaji, international relations expert, about the remaining living Israeli hostages being sent home yesterday, and whether that means there can in fact be a lasting peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And of course, we will tell you about Vitality's chicken run through Josie just before 9 o'clock.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, I want to ask this shout-out question. What is the cheekiest ad you can remember? One that's memorable. And I'll give you a couple examples, and I'll tell you why we're asking that question coming up. Do you remember the SABC 1 black and white TV ad from some years ago? Nando's Idlanati. Joko, do you know who I am? Do you remember those ads? The Ford Bantam Ubuntu ad. Remember that one? Give us a call and let us know. 072-702-1702. Muteo, can you remember a cheeky ad from years gone by?
I think one of the cheeky ads was from Vodacom. They had a character play Idi Amin, and he was obviously a dictator in that country. And he says, Vodacom is claiming to have all these features. We've always been having it. And one example he gives is a ringtone. So he has a band playing while he's calling someone. So it's a very, very entertaining ad that I remember.
Cheeky. So there are some memorable ones. There's some that you'll remember because they moved you. That's a conversation for another day. We're looking for cheeky. Amo, you've got a cheeky smile on your face. Which one can you remember?
It has to be Postbank's advert with the little boy who comes to pay his first installment of Lobola.
Yes,
With a little
piece of meat.
steak, yes. And he says, I'll give you these until I'm 20 years old, and I would have paid all the your Lobola in cars. Would have, it would have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's all the beef you need.
Yeah, here's all the beef you need, basically.
All the beef
and
you
he
need.
fixes his blazer and he walks out.
He walks out. So I remember in was it the 90s? Yeah, it was the 90s. And it was an ad for BMW. And it was going around, I think, Chapman's Peak.
Yeah.
And it was going around this windy, mountainous road. And all it said at the end was that it beats the Benz.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
But we all knew it wasn't Benz, Bends they were talking about, was it? That's the cheekiest one. Which one do you remember? We'll tell you why we're asking that question coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
6:15. One of the things you need to know, of course, that landmark moment yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump joining several world leaders in Egypt to sign a Gaza ceasefire deal. Earlier, Trump described the day as the historic dawn of a new Middle East. This was during a speech to the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. And it's a breakthrough that has allowed Hamas to release all remaining 20 living hostages to Israel under this U.S. brokered agreement. But there was a stunning moment in the Knesset yesterday as President Trump addressed Israeli lawmakers. And it's the kind of thing that really will give you the chills and make the hairs on your back stand up because of the incredible admission he makes. Have a listen.
But we have to do what we have to do. We make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them. And we've given a lot to Israel, frankly. And I mean, Bibi would call me so many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them. But we'd get them here, wouldn't we? And they are the best. They are the best. But you used them well. It also takes people that know how to use them. And you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. That's what led to peace.
Donald Trump there saying that there's no weapon the Israelis asked of the Americans they didn't get. Some of which he says he didn't even know what they did or how they worked, but they gave them. Isn't that the clearest admission yet that he's saying ultimately they aided and abetted the war in Gaza. Nonetheless, here we are. There is a peace plan led by the US, and there were several world leaders, including the UK Prime Minister, the French President. I saw the Pakistani Prime Minister, the Indonesian President was caught in a hot mic moment trying to arrange a deal with Donald Trump. And, you know, Trump is trying to almost dismiss him a little. And he says, let me speak to Eric. I'll speak to Eric, your sons, essentially, who are not, of course, in the US government. And it just shows you exactly who you're dealing with, doesn't it?
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk.
18 after 6. Mateo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, very, very simple. What's your favorite crisp or chip brand? And if you're someone that's moved away from potato chips for health reasons, what's your alternative snack?
I don't think there's a favorite. I mean, I think it's like asking who's your favorite child, right?
Just love snacks.
Doritos feature. I love Pringles spicy chips. It's
Yeah.
a spicy brand. There was a couple of spicy flavors.
Big can or small can? Big
What
can.
are you asking me? What are you asking me? Size matters. But for all the fancy chips, you know, you can give me your Lay's, you can give me your Doritos, you can give me your Pringles. I'm still here for Simba chips, eh? Cheese and onion.
You still want to be a Simba chip?
Cheese and onion. Not cheese and onion.
Onion.
Cheese and onion.
Amo?
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh, wow.
Cheese and onion. Smoked beef. Smoked beef.
Mm-hmm.
Mexican chili.
Barbecue.
Nah.
Not.
Mexican. Those three.
Yeah.
Cheese and onion. Smoked beef. Hey? And Mexican chili.
Amo, anything that's not on that long list?
Definitely Doritos, sour cream, and chili, the green packet. Oh, it's like absolutely divine. I love it.
You don't share it. Eh?
I can't.
As my aunt said yesterday, it's a PT, but not physical training.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect on this Tuesday? Partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg temperature starting at 12 degrees, peaking at 28. Your high in Pretoria is 31. It's 30 degrees in Vereeniging. A cloudy start for Cape Town. Some morning rain expected. A high of 22. Gqeberha peaks at 24 degrees. East London Gqeberha peaks at 19. I beg your pardon. East London is 24 and Durban 30.
EWN traffic.
20 after 6, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Traveling in Boksburg, we've got delays, Bongani, on the N17 East right near Rondebult Road. Roadworks are taking place along this route, causing about a 10-minute hold-up, so please be on the lookout there. And if you're traveling on the R21 South, more roadworks just as you approach Atlas Road. Delays coming out of Pomona Road. Please do expect about a 20-minute hold-up if you're heading towards the OR Tambo Airport this morning. While traveling in the city of Tshwane, peak time delays already on the R80 East Mabopane Highway between Bremer and SKM Pahlele Drive. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a possible love story on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
So you thought you were building a business in this economy, but day by day, somehow it grew. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
Did you know that all residential complexes are legally required to register with the Community Scheme Ombud Service, or CSOS? Registration is easy and it's free. All registered schemes can access a quick and affordable alternative dispute resolution body and can also learn more about the rights and responsibilities of people living within a community scheme. We'd like to appeal to all unregistered community schemes to register with the CSOS today. Visit csos.org.za to find out more.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. The most cheeky one for me would be, I think it was a Caucasian guy walking through a township. The whole township was Caucasian, if I can say that. It was. I think it was pulled down because of its political stance, but yeah, that was a nice one.
I am McIntyre from Glasgow. What kind of a mac are you? I'm a Makatini. From Edinburgh, I suppose. No, from Maratswara. You remember that Cadbury lunch bar ad? That was funny. From Rustenburg.
We're talking about those cheeky ads that you remember. We'll explain coming up in the show a little later.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
All right, 24 minutes after 6, things you need to know. I've told you about the landmark moment for the Middle East. But bringing things back home, more than R500 million is set to boost the city of Johannesburg's efforts to tackle waste management. They've secured a grant of about 27.5 million euros, which is about 551 million rand. This is a grant from the Dutch government's Invest International, and that was, of course, announced, and that agreement was signed in Sandton. On this day in 2007, the reality TV phenomenon Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered on E!, giving viewers an inside look at the glamorous, often dramatic lives of the Kardashian-Jenner family. And it became a global pop culture staple, and it transformed the family into superstars. Years later, the legacy continues. They've got now a fresh new version, simply called The Kardashians. The reality TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians is mostly watched by women, and they're saying the demographic is those aged 25 to 44, who make up about 65% of its viewers. Here's a question. Is there something your significant other is absolutely obsessed with watching and you just cannot deal? Mateo?
I have to deal. That's the thing. If it's on TV, I have to deal.
So you just go along?
No, I have to be there for the conversation. She has to bounce off me, and I have.
What shows are you
whether
dealing
it's
with?
Love Island or all these other things that you want, Married at First Sight, all those things, I have to be there.
You have to deal through those.
Yeah.
Amo? Because you love sport.
No, but I also love reality TV, especially South African reality
dealing.
TV. So he's dealing throughout. He is dealing.
I couldn't watch the Housewives, eh?
And
Any of these Housewives things, I couldn't. For all the love in
and
the
I've
world.
been asking you, Bongani, please watch Married at First Sight so we can talk for 10 months.
All the love in the world, I couldn't. Yo, you'd have to be amazing. Yo, to make me watch the real. What shows do you have to sit through gritting your teeth, and you have to remind yourself, it is love, it is love, it is true love. South African anti-apartheid hero Rahima Moosa would have celebrated her 103rd birthday today. Born on this day in 1922, Moosa played a pivotal role in shaping our nation's history. So she was part of the organizers of the 1955 Congress of the People. That's the one that gave us the Freedom Charter, you'll remember. She also played a role in the 1956 Women's March to the Union Building, alongside people like Helen Joseph, Lillian Goyi, and of course, we know Sophia Williams-De Bruyn was also there. Singer, songwriter, and actor Usher Raymond IV, you know him simply as Usher, is celebrating his 47th birthday today. Born on this day in 1978. He's a multi-award winning artist, So many hits. You Got It Bad, Burn, Confessions, and this one, You Remind Me.
Me change my mind, kinda hard to explain, but girl, I'll try. You need to sit down, this may take a while. See this girl, she sorta looks just like you. She even smiles just the way you do. So innocent she seemed, but I was fooled. I'm reminded when I look at you, but you remind me of a girl that I once knew. See your face whenever I look at you. Won't believe it, baby. She put me through. No. This is why I just can't.
702.
The newspapers.
Oh man, Susan, now that takes us back, does it not?
Absolutely
Remember that song?
does. Yeah. I grew up on Usher.
You're still playing marbles, eh?
Yes. And please, if big concerts is listening, please bring Usher.
Please
to
bring
South
Usher.
Africa
Yeah, I'll
at
go.
FNB
I'll go to
Stadium.
that one. I'll actually go to that one. Yeah, I would. Right, what's in the papers?
As you would imagine, Bongani, most international publications are covering that Gaza ceasefire that was spearheaded by U.S. President Donald Trump. I was watching the different international television channels yesterday, and it was such emotional scenes when families were reunited with their loved ones who have been away for 2 years, more than 2 years, 7 months, 8 months, and just being reunited and watching the footage and those videos was so emotional. And obviously Trump has now said that different countries will band together to try and rebuild and help Gaza to rebuild. So those are some of the footages that we have seen yesterday, and that is what is leading most international publications this morning.
I'm looking at the Sowetan, and of course, Brown Mokgotsi was a name that came up yesterday as Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, the Deputy National Police Commissioner, gave evidence in Parliament to that ad hoc inquiry. And it was mixed, man. It was mixed in terms of some of the admissions that he was making. And the people our top cops are so willingly ready to mingle with and have conversations with. It raises more questions for me and certainly more eyebrows, and we'll delve into some of those clips as we go on. The war is over, says the Citizen, as Bibi and Trump hug, and cash held by firms surges to 2 trillion rand. Companies holding back on investment because of low confidence in this economy.
EWN Business.
That's the front page of the Business Day, by the way. All right, Mateo, you're asking us about our favorite crisp or chip band. And if we've moved away from potato chips, what healthy alternative snacks have we chosen? I also buy those air-fried snacks, those air-fried potatoes, because they've obviously got less oil. But, I mean, a potato is a potato is a potato. What prompts the question?
Obongani, the Lay's chip brand wants consumers to remember they use real potatoes to make their chip brands. The brand, owned by PepsiCo, says according to its own research, around 42% of its global consumers didn't know Lay's was made from the vegetable. Lay's is giving the brand a makeover. Yes, people think those chips are made from something else, and now the brand is sort of rebranding and putting potatoes on the packaging. So
wait, what did they think it was?
I don't know. They did a whole survey around the world, and people thought maybe, I don't know where the chips come from, but I've always known it to be potatoes. But I think they were concerned that 42% of them said they didn't know that. So
maybe they don't want to know.
Or what's
maybe
in it?
Lay's is missing the point.
It's good enough.
Right? Maybe people don't want to know. You know what makes incredibly interesting and tasty alternatives to potato chips? Woolies has these beetroot crisps and these pumpkin crisps. They're quite interesting. But for anyone to pretend they don't know Lay's are potatoes.
No, I want my 7 colors on a plate, not in a chip bag. Now, according to research reports published by Spherical Insights and Consulting, the global potato chips market size is projected to grow from $26 billion to around $43 billion by 2035. The most popular chip brands globally are Lay's, Pringles, your favorite Bongani, and Kettle brand, followed by brands like Ruffles as well. Now, the biggest trends in the chip market now is growing interest in functional and healthier snacks. So that's why you're seeing the brands, drive the point home that they're going to be releasing all these dyes and the amount of salt that's in there, reduced fat and sodium, clean labeling, as well as limited edition and creative flavors. Gourmet as well as artisanal flavors as well has become a popular thing around the chip market.
All right, let's talk about chips. Are they down for the rand?
Yeah, this morning they are 17 Rand 31 against the US dollar. It's in the red at 20 Rand 5 cents against the euro and 23 Rand 9 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up more than 1% at $4,164 an ounce. It's still climbing with platinum at $1,674. Brent crude at $63.48 a barrel. More business after 7.
Time now for your latest Eyewitness News. Don't forget, coming up, this court ruling that's handed possibly Operation Dudula a fresh boost. We'll speak to the Human Rights Commission about that. In the meantime, take us to the capital, Sfisa Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. That's where the DA in Tshwane has submitted a motion of no confidence in Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise, accusing him of doing business with the municipality. Modise, who is also the finance MMC, is currently under investigation for possible conflict of interest with one of the city's service providers, Triotic Protection Services. Modise has previously admitted to owning the company, but says he resigned as its director before becoming a Tshwane councillor in 2023. The DA's regional caucus leader, Celia Brink, has accused Mayor Nasipi Moya of protecting her deputy.
In terms of the code of conduct for councillors, councillor of a municipality cannot have benefits and interests in a contract with the municipality. If that rule applies to ordinary councillors, it applies all the more to the deputy mayor and the finance MMC, who has an important role in the budget process, oversight over tenders, and is meant to drive the city's financial recovery.
In Cape Town, an alleged gang leader who is on trial alongside suspected underworld gang boss Nafeez Modak and 14 others has applied to be released on bail. Tawfiq Brown, Modak and their accused or co-accused face 122 charges for various crimes, including murder, extortion, fraud, corruption and money laundering. The trial was delayed again yesterday after being postponed for a second time due to the presiding judge not being available following a lengthy 6-month break. Carlo Peterson reports.
Last week, defense attorney Inga Jansen told the court she filed affidavits for clients Tawfiq Brown and Jacques Cronje to be released on bail. Cronje's bail application was subsequently revoked as he faces charges in a separate matter related to illegal possession of a firearm. Jansen says she filed a fresh affidavit for Brown's bail application to go ahead, and she's now awaiting feedback from the judge president. The matter will be back in court on the 3rd of November, pending the availability of presiding Judge Robert Henney, who is presumed to be ill. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
Taking a quick look at Newsmaking International headlines, rebel fighters linked to the Islamic State group have killed at least 19 people in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The region, bordering Rwanda with abundant natural resources, has suffered extreme violence for more than 3 decades, often at the hands of armed insurgent groups. Officials say the Allied Democratic Forces, an organization founded by former Ugandan rebels who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group, raided the village of Mukondo in Lubero territory and slaughtered 19 people on Sunday. Ugandan soldiers have been deployed alongside the Congolese army since 2021 to fight the ADF, but the joint operation has failed to end the violence. And China says it's ready to fight to the end in a trade war with the US after President Donald Trump said he would slap additional 100% tariffs on goods from the country. The move, revealed on a Friday social media post, was in response to Beijing's announcement last week of sweeping new export controls in the strategic field of rare earths, currently dominated by China. Trump also announced in the post that Washington will impose export controls on any and all critical software from next month. The latest escalation has rattled markets and called into question a potential upcoming meeting with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in South Korea. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 12 and 17 degrees, peaking at highs between 28 and 30.
Well, traveling on the R21 South, we still got those heavy traffic volumes coming up to Atlas Road, coming out of Pomona Road. It's due to the roadworks that are taking place there. As a result, if you're heading towards the OR Tambo International Airport this morning, leaving Tembisa, your trip could take you about 23 minutes. So please be on the lookout. Plan your trips ahead of time. While traveling on the N3 North, more roadworks are taking place and they are causing delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange.
The top story, the DA in Tshwane has submitted a motion of no confidence in Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise.
It is said that listening to Mozart could boost intelligence. So we at RMB bought this extended radio spot to give you 30 seconds of Mozart just to get some thinking done. That was nice, huh? Just some time to think. Well, that is precisely what we do at RMB. Invest in the time to think of smarter solutions for our clients. RMB. Solutionists love company. RMB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time. Medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
In a world shaped by those who build, disrupt, and reimagine, there comes a gathering not just of minds, but of futures. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is where top entrepreneurs, innovators, and changemakers converge. It's where the future of enterprise is redefined. On 5 and 6 November, you could be there. Stand a chance to win tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit on 702. WhatsApp the keyword SAFT with your name and ID number, telling us how you would benefit from attending the summit to 072-702-1702. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa to find out if you're a winner. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank. Your summit, your way, on 702. TCs and more on PrimeMediaPlus.com.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani Tato from Brett. Talking about what you have to deal with me. It's not even about TV. Like, ever since my son and his dad, they just play this FIFA. I can't even keep up. I don't even know how these cars are being controlled. The other day, I said to them, when I was on a quad bike, I said, I feel like I'm on one of your FIFA trails, because that's all they make us watch. They move from the bedroom and they come and do it in the lounge. So you have to sit through it, or you must just go and find something else to do.
Hey, Bongles and the team, good morning. I had to sit and watch Married at First Sight. And I was forced to. My wife wanted me to analyze the show, the reality show, and scrutinize each character, each couple, and stuff like that. And yeah, all in the name of love. But you know what, Bongs, I ended up enjoying it. So every time we would criticize a couple, we would now debate over whether they should stay married or not. So yeah, all in the name of love, Bongles. Cheers. Bye.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. Well, I'm the partner that watches Big Brother, or should I say, used to watch, because I didn't watch this previous season, the Big Brother of Big Brother Niger. I was just not into it. I don't know why. But yeah, and the partner has to deal with it.
What shows do you grit through and you know it's true love? Cindy Paluta, you've just walked in. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. How are you?
So are there shows that Mark watches that you just go, oh?
I'd say the whole of YouTube. The husband watches YouTube, everything on YouTube. So he likes to, he himself, his hobby is to restore cars.
Yeah.
So he likes to watch other people restoring cars.
Ah.
And then he'll say, oh, this guy doesn't talk in his video or whatever. Oh, he doesn't talk in the video, guys. And he's restoring a car. And then he'll open his YouTube and then he'll fall asleep, right?
Right.
And then days later, he'll say, I think I've watched everything on YouTube. I've watched the whole of YouTube. And this video, it says I've watched it, but I haven't. I don't remember watching this. And I'm like, yes, because you fall asleep and then YouTube just automatically plays the next video. That man thinks he's watched the whole of YouTube.
Whereas perhaps YouTube watches him more often, hey?
Yeah, so there is stuff that he will watch that I'm like, okay, I can do this for 15 minutes.
Like what?
There's a Dutch guy in a hill in Italy who is restoring an old farmhouse and he's doing everything himself, everything. And then there's a guy who restores old paintings. So he goes into a barn and he'll find like old paintings and then he strips it away slowly, all the layers of dust and dirt. You see these magnificent artworks underneath.
Come alive.
But I mean, like, really, there has to be nothing else on for me to watch that.
All right. What do you grit through because your spouse or your partner
Like nothing else
has to watch it? Let us know.
EWN Sport.
Well. Hey, how are these Proteas women, Cindy?
So I tweeted yesterday at the change of the innings and I said, sure, I hope this last 5 overs of the Bangladesh innings doesn't come back to bite us. And it almost did. Because at the end there, the Proteas were, I think, 5 wickets down at one point. And I remember very clearly saying to my daughter, what does it say at the bottom of the screen there? Because I refuse to get glasses. And she said they need 100 runs off 96 balls. And she said, but they should get it. I said, no, they're 5 wickets down. If you're 5 wickets down, it means your top batsmen are all out. And now you're really struggling, right?
Order,
but they did it an exact copy-paste fashion as it was against India. It was against Bangladesh. It was Nadine de Klerk at the end, smashing a 6, giving the Proteas women the win with 3 balls to spare. It was,
And
again,
they dropped her, hey? And they dropped her.
They dropped Nadine de Klerk, I think, twice.
Yeah.
I think I saw 2.
What was that old saying? Catches win matches.
Yep. So Chloe Tryon named player of the match there for her 62 from 69. That also helped the team chase down 233. Here's Tryon.
I've just been taking the responsibilities and now coming in really early in the India game and today as well. Myself and Marizan just spoke about taking it as deep as we could and just tick it over. We knew we had time on our hands and we knew we had Nadine in the back end, so we didn't want to bring it in too early. So we kind of went low risk and still kind of chipped away at the runs as much as we could. And I'm just happy we're still finding ways to get on the line.
While the Proteas men are struggling, they resumed day 3 on 216 for 6, still trailing Pakistan by 162 in the first test. In the middle will be Dazorzi on 81 with Muthsami on 6. Muthsami had taken 6 wickets yesterday with the ball and was on a hat-trick twice.
Yeah, it was really nice to add value to the team and to pick up those wickets and to open up the game. It would have been nice to get a hat-trick, but it wasn't quite to be. It's probably as spin-friendly as I've played in. I thought all the bowlers bowled really nicely and we all contributed towards that innings. I'm just really grateful to have picked up the wickets and I wouldn't say it was a lot more pressure than usual. Anytime you're playing for South Africa, there is a certain level of expectation.
Live on the go, India 2 wickets down. They need just 33 more runs to beat the West Indies on day 5 of the second test. Cape Verde is the second smallest nation in history to have qualified for the FIFA World Cup after they beat Eswatini 3-0, the first time the country will be going to the World Cup. Well, a huge game for Bafana tonight, who must beat Rwanda and hope Nigeria beats Benin. EWN Sports Tolakele Mganga is there.
Hugo Bruce admits that divine intervention will be needed tonight if Bafana are to stand any chance of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Let's hope at the other side that the gods are with us and that we see the result what everyone hopes in Nigeria. and that is that Benin lose the game.
Mbombela Stadium has become a fortress for South Africa in recent years, having won 6 and drawn 4 of their previous 10 games. However, it still remains the scene of their greatest embarrassment. That's after a miscalculation mistakenly had them believing they had qualified for the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations. 14 years on from that dance of Mbombela, Captain Ronan Williams is confident in this generation's ability to exercise that demon.
Calculators will be out, so hopefully things can go in our favor now. And tomorrow, we all will be dancing. Maybe we'll rock that same dance that they done that time.
Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sports, reporting live from Mbombela Stadium, Nelspruit.
Premier League leaders Arsenal won't have captain Martin Odegaard until the end of November due to a knee injury, and the All Blacks lock Patrick Tuapolatu is out for 6 months. The shoulder injury, he's replaced by Sam Darry in the squad to tour the Northern Hemisphere. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani. My name is Isa. I'm 13 years old and I go to Parktown Boys High School. When I grow up, I want to be an engineer. I'm very excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you.
We're excited to play with you too. Can you walk away with 10,000 Rand?
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. There are delays all over the R21, Amo.
Yes, Bongani, due to those roadworks that are taking place right near Atlas Road, as a result, there's about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Pomona Road. Please be on the lookout there. And if you are leaving Tembisa at this particular moment, it will take you about 20 minutes to get towards the OR Tambo International Airport. While traveling on the N3 North, more roadworks are taking place right near the Baklu interchange, causing heavy traffic volumes. If you're heading towards Sunny Hill or Woodmead, please try to use the M1 North instead. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 92. Your dog locked you out of the house again. Well, quite a tall tale, isn't it? Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsman ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview. 702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Kagiso. Kagiso was established as a black township in 1920 for ex-miners and workers from Krugersdorp. Today, Kagiso falls under Mogale City, named after Chief Mogale, who ruled over a kingdom of miners and traders of gold. Notable people from Kagiso include former Gauteng Premier and current ANC Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane and soccer coach Pitso Musimane. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Kagiso.
Mzansi Powerball has skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140 million Rand. That's the estimated jackpot this Tuesday. So play Powerball for an estimated 140 million today and stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda, push up, play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
PSG Asset Management sees opportunities others have missed. Like that stock, once up, now down. We thought good price and started our in-depth research there. Turns out it was a quality undervalued company working hard to restore market confidence to deliver soaring returns when they did. Because for us, a good price is just the beginning. To partner with us, contact your financial advisor or visit psg.co.za. PSG Asset Management Pty Limited is an authorized financial services provider and part of PSG Financial Services Group, a licensed controlling company.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. We'll give you 1,000 Rand. If you give us an answer based on anything you heard in the show that piqued your interest, simply WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. Then someone else will ask a question to get your answer and they win 2,000 bucks. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? Issa today is our contestant, 13 years old, and goes to Parktown Boys High. Issa, let's see if you can win 10,000 rand. You know what you would do with it, hey?
Oh, yes.
What would you do with it?
I'd probably use it for maybe my science projects at home.
Your science projects at home. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's see, Issa, if you can walk away with 10,000 rand. Here we go. KG, start the clock. Spell the word position.
Position.
Correct. What is 23 plus 21?
44.
Correct. Does the word conceal mean to reveal or to hide?
To hide.
Correct. What score comes after 15 in a tennis match?
30.
Correct. Which is the longest river in the world?
The Nile River.
Correct. On which country's flag are there 50 white stars?
The United States of
Correct.
America.
What is the single term for the large bones that protect your brain?
A skull.
Correct. The country Turkey lies in Asia and which other continent?
Europe.
Correct. Which human organ has a retina which contains rods and cones?
Pardon?
Which human organ has a retina which contains rods and cones?
The brain.
It's the eye. True or false? Lasers work with sound waves.
False.
False. Jeepers, creepers. Issa, you walk away with 9 correct answers. 9 correct answers. You were so close. You were so close to the 10,000 rand. You had our hearts in our mouth. But well played, and really congratulations. You walk away with 900 rand. Now, if you listened to all of that and got inspired and think you can do as well as Issa, you must be aged 10 to 13. Send us a WhatsApp voice note to 072 702 1702, and we could be calling you.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. You can't stop them for now. The High Court in Durban has dismissed a legal bid that tried to stop Operation Dudula's campaign against migrants. The South African Human Rights Commission had hoped to halt the group from refusing migrants to access to hospitals and clinics, calling them unlawful and discriminatory. But the court has ruled the case lacked urgency. So does this mean Operation Dudula can return to the streets and continue their fight against migrants? Chris Nissen joins us now from the South African Human Rights Commission as the spokesperson. Chris, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Bongani.
What prompted your action, your court action?
What prompted the court action was because we received a number of complaints, of people that were denied or were prevented from accessing healthcare in KZN. And we thought that before anybody dies, because of prevention by any group, whoever they are, that we need to go to court. The court ruled that there's no urgency, although we differ from it because there is an urgency, but we accepted the ruling. The case was not dismissed. It was for us to come back and go back to court again and then argue our case. However, in the court, the counsel for the respondent said they will ask their clients or they will engage their clients not to do any action in this regard. Whether it will happen or not, we'll have to see.
All right. I mean, what had you hoped to achieve?
We hope to achieve that the court would have ruled that the counsel of the respondents said they will speak to their clients. We've hoped that the court will have made that ruling to say, tell your clients not to get involved in any action that will lead to a prevention of healthcare for sick people and needing healthcare. We've hoped the court would have made that ruling. Unfortunately, the court did not make that ruling.
Yeah.
It said that lack urgency. But God forbid that anybody dies in the meantime.
I know you're emphasizing that it was the urgency rather than the merits of your case that led us here, but also isn't the court saying ultimately that you're making a mountain out of a molehill, not only in terms of urgency, but the last example that was cited in this matter was in July. These things, are they as widespread?
Look, I mean, the urgency we can debate, but the court also allowed the Council of Respondents to speak to the merits. And they explained, I mean, I was there in court, I heard them. But when it came to our counsel, the court said, no, don't look at merits, urgency. So, but the point I want to make is that, this not only happened in July. They came to offices all over the country, or well, most of our offices, to come and protest. But when we monitor and when we do an assessment, we can't just run to any situation and say, this is it. So our office in KZN took their time in terms of monitoring, assessment, listening to the complainants, and then on the basis of the monitoring, on the basis of listening to complainants, and just remember, I just want to bring to your attention, that undocumented does not always mean foreign nationals. Let me make this very clear. I said it is on this show before, that they are undocumented South Africans. South Africans. And as I said, we used to call the Khosi and the Nkosi to say, can you verify that this person, I had to call a hospital in Sulenkama at Kum to say, did this happen here? And it's very difficult to get that kind of information.
Right.
But no, the urgency is still based on anything that can happen anytime in this country.
Chris, what happens next? I mean, we've got this heated political climate. Migration is going to be a hot topic as we head towards the elections. And many politicians will likely sacrifice principle if they think it'll get them votes.
Yes.
I know Operation Dudula, in fact, if I understand it, also wants to contest the local government elections next year. What happens now? Can they take back to the streets and stop people from going to clinics? And I've even heard examples of schools.
Yes. Can I just say, Bongani, thank you so much for the last time that I was in 702. And you recall the honorable member that was there. And, I invited him to come to our function in Johannesburg. And then I also invited him to say, walk with me the streets. And he's really, really prepared to do that. So I think that the question must be to politicians and so on, stop taking a pet project that does not have any political relevance except for whooping up support against foreign nationals through thinking that you can get votes. I would say, let the politicians engage the Human Rights Commission so we can show them what we are doing in terms of where socioeconomic rights have been violated in this country.
All right, Chris, we're going to have to leave it there. Chris is the Human Rights Commission spokesperson, Chris Nissen there. He's saying that the court didn't dismiss their case on the merits. It was rather the issue of urgency, and no doubt they will go back to try and deal with that.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview focus on trying to relieve Africa's debt problem. We'll speak to the former finance minister, Trevor Manuel, and we'll also speak to an internationals expert to unpack the long-awaited peace efforts in the Middle East.
This is EWN.
Shadrack Sibia speaks about the time his relationship with Mkhwanazi turned bad, and Trump touts an apparent new beginning for Israelis and Palestinians. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya has told MPs that he was banned from operating in KwaZulu-Natal by the province's top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Sibiya yesterday appeared before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. He says his good relationship with Mkhwanazi turned bad when he was accused by the KZN top cop of going over his head when he instructed Mkhwanazi's deputy to carry out a task in connection with the murder of rapper Kinan aka Forbes. Babalondenze reports.
Shadrack Sibiya told Parliament that he was working well with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the relationship only changed when he inquired about the case involving those arrested for AKA's murder. Sibiya says former Minister Bheki had asked for a briefing on the AKA murder from KZN, but he couldn't get hold of Mkhwanazi and spoke to his deputy instead.
In having a good relationship with John Mkhwanazi, I never thought he would actually make a big issue out of it. The main reason was, normally when I contact him, you find that he is busy in a meeting.
He says this angered Mkhwanazi.
Tells me that he's appointed in terms of the constitution, and then he's responsible for policing in KZN. Say from now onwards, you've got nothing to do with KZN. And now I'm being banned by the provincial commissioner to operate in KZN when in fact I'm operating nationally.
Sibiya also denied any involvement in the disbandment of the political killings task team and allegations of interference leveled against him by Mkhwanazi. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says none of his family members have benefited from government tenders in recent years, following speculation linking him to alleged tender fraudster Hangwani Maumela. Maumela has been identified by the Special Investigating Unit as a key figure in a syndicate accused of looting 2 billion rand through Tembisa hospital tenders. Last week, the SIU raided his lavish 3-story mansion in Sandton, seizing luxury sports cars and other items. During a media briefing in Pretoria yesterday, the presidency addressed claims suggesting Ramaphosa has ties to the alleged fraudster. Alfred Mushwana was there.
Since Hangwani Maumela came into the spotlight for his alleged involvement in looting Tembisa hospital tenders, claims have surfaced suggesting he's President Cyril Ramaphosa's nephew. Ramaphosa has clarified that he was previously married to Maumela's aunt, a union that ended in 1989. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says while Ramaphosa notes the allegations against Maumela, he doesn't consider him a family member.
Just before the president was appointed the deputy president, he gathered his immediate family and relatives and sternly instructed all of them to stop any business that they did with the government. Maumela was not part of that family gathering because he's not part of the president's immediate family.
Makwenya says the president has always been concerned about allegations of looting Tembisa hospital tenders, which is why he signed the SIU proclamation to investigate procurement irregularities at the medical facility. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The first accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has admitted to being related to some of his co-accused in the High Court in Pretoria. Muzi Sibiya took the stand as the defence's first witness yesterday. The defense opened its case 3 months since the state called its last witness. Prosecutors believe Sibiya and 4 co-accused are behind the 2014 murder of the Bafana Bafana captain. Khomotso Modise reports.
When the 5 accused initially appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court in connection with Senzo Meyiwa's murder in 2020, some of the men denied knowing each other and others said they only met on that day in the dock. But yesterday, Muzi Sibiya revealed that the only one of the accused that he did not know is the alleged gunman Mthobisi Mncube.
I know Ntanzi from back at home. Our villages, they are not far apart. Mapisa, he's from my maternal side. And then Antuli, he's from my maternal side, however, from a distance.
He'll continue with his testimony this morning. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And US President Donald Trump has signed a Gaza ceasefire deal with the leaders of Qatar, Egypt and Turkey, promising lasting peace in the Middle East. As part of Trump's plan to end the war, Hamas has freed the last 20 surviving hostages it held after 2 years of captivity in Gaza. In exchange, Israel released 1,968 mostly Palestinian prisoners held in its jails for years, some without charge. The ceasefire has brought relief in Gaza, but the territory has been hit by a humanitarian crisis and much of it flattened by the war, with the road to recovery remaining long. The peace deal calls for a truce in the war that was sparked by Hamas attacks in 2023 when it led militants and killed more than 1,000 people and took 251 hostage. Israel has since killed more than 67,000 people in Gaza, with a United Nations report saying a genocide has been committed against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Donald Trump has hailed the peace deal as tremendous.
I'm pleased to announce that numerous countries of great wealth and power and dignity have come forward to me just today and over the last week to say they want to help in the reconstruction of Gaza, putting up whatever money is necessary. And the money is, of course, it's a lot of money, but it's not much compared to the value or the wealth of these tremendous countries.
Gold is trading at $4,164.26 an ounce. The rand is at 17.30 to the dollar, 23.10 to the pound, 24 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.50 a barrel.
Traffic is heavily backed up along the R21 South between Pomona Road and Atlas Road. This is due to roadworks taking place along this route, causing about a 30-minute hold up. If you're traveling along this route, do be on the lookout for other motor vehicles and drive with care. If you're traveling on the N3 North, we've got delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu Interchange. Roadworks are taking place there.
And in your sport copy-paste, as Nadine de Klerk smashes the Proteas women to a 3-wicket win over Bangladesh at the Cricket World Cup. Proteas men resumed day 3 on 216 for 6, still trailing Pakistan by 162 in the first test. Cape Verde has qualified for the FIFA World Cup for the first time ever, and the pressure on Bafana to beat Rwanda in their last World Cup qualifier tonight at 6 p.m.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 28 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya has told MPs that he was banned from operating in KwaZulu-Natal by the province's top cop, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock. Of course, the focus is now definitely on the suspended Deputy Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, denying any links to the so-called Big Five drug cartels. He told Parliament's ad hoc committee yesterday that these syndicates do not exist, and saying if they do, why haven't they been arrested?
The Big Five that has been spoken about is not there. And if it is indeed true, it is there, it exists, why are they not being arrested for drugs or for whatever reason it may be? But personally, I'm not involved in the Big Five. I don't know the Big Five. So I'm just saying, you ask a simple question, are there cartels or are there factionalism in the South African Police Service? I'm tempted to say yes, but I think it's better left to this committee to look at what is happening after our presentation and decide on that thing.
The other issue, of course, that came up was the name Brown Mokgotsi, the alleged associate of the suspended police minister Senzo Mchunu, and he was asked if he knew Mokgotsi and when he met him. Sibiya saying they only met in January this year, that this chap had been calling him all the time to warn him about things and moves that were being made against him. He was even shown a WhatsApp exchange between Brown Mokgotsi and, of course, Matlala, right? Matlala. And he didn't, this is Vusumuzi Cat Matlala, that's the Matlala I mean. And he struggled with that WhatsApp exchange, because there the messages are very clear that Mchunu and Sibiya were meant to find a solution to Matlala's problems. At one point, in those exchanges, Mokgotsi then tells Matlala, your problems have gone away because we're going to make the investigations go away. This follows, of course, the suggestion that Mkhunu and Sibiya would find a solution. It's all very murky.
Morning, Bongani and the team. Oh, Issa, my baby. Oh, my heart was in my hands and I was screaming, the eye. Well done, well done. Just almost made it. Oh, I wish I was 13 years old. Thank you, bye.
Issa, I was just saying yes. Oh, man. Sorry, Issa, well done.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 after 7 on this day. Did you know in 1926, Winnie the Pooh, the classic children's tale, was published for the very, very first time? We're expecting a ruling from the Madlanga Commission around that application concerning the next witness who wants to speak in camera and whether or not that will be allowed. There's also some attention to the Road Accident Fund. That inquiry into maladministration at RAF moves into its second week. 3 witnesses expected to speak today. More from General Shadrach Sibiya in Parliament. And on this day in 2000, Christina Aguilera topped the charts with her hit single, Come On Over, Baby.
Come on over, baby. Come on over, baby. Come on over, baby. Hey, boy, don't you know I got something going on? I got an invitation.
702. Up next,
The big interview.
EWN Traffic.
12 minutes after 7 o'clock, peak time delays everywhere. Amo?
Yeah, that's correct, Bongani, along the Mark 1 North between Boyson's Road and Empire Road, while traveling on the M1 South, queuing traffic as well between Grayston Drive and Corlett Drive exit, while heading towards the OR Tambo International Airport. Do expect about a 30-minute hold up between Pomona Road and Atlas Road. This is due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. Please try to avoid this delay by using the R24 East instead.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch it this Wednesday at 10 to 9, and we're featuring Inzinga Assist. Their CEO and founder, Derek Lubner, will be in conversation with me. We do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk, and together, make a difference.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Soccer and speed meet this season with Hollywood Bets and Aziz Shege. Be in the game. The thrilling competition sees 4 million rand in cash and prizes up for grabs. The first of 4 brand new vehicles is a top-of-the-range Toyota Rumian. Simply bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch to qualify. Feel the fever and bet now on the action.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality and sustainability with Africa at the center. Tune in this Friday between 6 and 9 a.m. for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. It's brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get all the latest news, views, insights and breakthroughs from the summit as it happens. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
7:15 onto this now. Former Finance Minister Trevor Manuel has joined a powerful call to turn debt into hope. He and 30 leading economists and influential figures, including Nobel Economics laureate Joseph Stiglitz, central bankers and finance ministers around the world, want the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank to change their approach when it comes to debt from poor countries. African countries, for example, spend an average 17% of their revenue just to service external debts, leaving little room for health, education, or investments for the future, something that is clearly unstable. He joins us now. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning to you and the listeners, Bongani.
Debt relief for many African countries would be a game changer, would it not?
It would be a massive game changer. The problem, as you highlighted in your introduction, is that too many countries face the challenge. They default. I mean, there are some countries who defaulted. Zambia, Mozambique, Ghana, Ethiopia have defaulted, and that's a massive problem because it takes at least 3 years to get back into discussion. But there are many countries who avoid the actual default against the banks, but then default against their people. So the issues you mentioned, the underfunding of health, education, and general social protection across the continent are the manifestations of that. It has to be a development default rather than a default on the banks. And this is growing in leaps and bounds, and it's deeply, deeply worrying for us.
I mean, doesn't the argument, or at least, the argument that these terms are often stringent to prevent those indebted countries from defaulting, how do we work around that?
Well, I mean, you know, if the rules were equal for all, there would be a basis for that discussion. Just recently, the U.S. bailed out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion. They bought Argentinian pesos and gave them dollars. And they used a resource within the IMF called the special drawing rights. The U.S. doesn't need it because the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank and the U.S. dollar are the reserve. The U.S. dollar is the reserve currency, so they could donate that money to the friend President Milei in Argentina, and Argentina's offered a bailout, but the same does not apply to poor countries everywhere. And this situation is deeply worrying. You know, it's a matter that's been raised in different places where I've been active this year, including a UN task force on development solutions convened by the Secretary General, focused largely on debt. The Jubilee Commission, which was convened by the late Pope Francis. And thirdly, we are still working on an African expert panel as part of the G20. The work will continue beyond the G20 Leaders Summit in November to ensure that we can get a handle on this.
One might argue that perhaps the US could do that for Argentina, but is that kind of solution possible for many countries? And I'm thinking of this recent UN report that suggested that a cap perhaps would be the way to go, that maybe 10% in as many as 21 countries would unlock enormous sums to provide things like clean water and sanitation. And perhaps a bigger question here has to be, if the IMF is being accused now of being a debt collector for the rich, do you see the global north agreeing to some of what you are asking for?
Look, there has been movement. I was around in 1995 when there was a push for relief for highly indebted poor countries called the HIPIC initiative. It helped. But it wasn't substantial, and so countries fell back into debt thereafter. These issues remain, and I think one of the issues that distinguishes the present from 1995 was that there's been a shift away from official lending to private sector lending. In 1995, the bulk of debt was to the IMF and the World Bank. And now there are a number of other agencies, including countries like China, that don't offer debt relief, but the amounts borrowed have grown in leaps and bounds, and the interest rate variables have also kicked in. And so there's a complex of issues. I don't think the breakfast show has enough time to talk about it, but it runs through things like the role of ratings agencies, sources of capital, sometimes the absence of strict treasury edicts in borrowing countries. I would include South Africa in that. And then, of course, the fact that savings pools are minimal in poor countries. South Africa, Mauritius, and Namibia would be three of the countries on the African continent who have sufficient resources from its pension funds so that the bulk of our borrowing is domestic. Almost everywhere else on the continent, countries have to borrow from foreign resources. And so exchange rate variables, commodity price pressures, all of that places countries in dire straits in a very short space of time.
The current geopolitical environment and all its attendant uncertainties in many senses might be a reason, some argue, for a reset of that post-World War II order that established the IMF and the World Bank. Does this moment present that kind of opportunity?
To rational people, it clearly does. And I would even include Bongani Bingwa in the rational people. But the problem that we have with the United Nations is that the veto countries in the Security Council won't give that up and won't even discuss how to take that forward. And this presents us with a major problem. I think the United Nations is weakened as a consequence. It's weakened in the current geopolitical period when we see what's happening with wars, for instance. But it's also a big issue when one deals with its cousins in Washington, the Bretton Woods institutions. It hasn't been all bad. But I think that there's a heck of a lot of work to do, primarily because the shareholding of the IMF is vested with the same wealthy countries, and they hang on to this. It was wrong in the beginning in 1944 at Bretton Woods, and it's become continuously wrong over the period. So the shareholding, in fact, the U.S. has an effective veto on lending by the IMF, and you aren't able to kind of move the dial immediately. It's going to take a monumental effort to change that.
You mentioned, this will be my final question to you, you mentioned things we could do right as some of these indebted countries, and I'm looking at the front page of the Business Day this morning, cash held by firms now surging to 2 trillion rand as companies hold back on investment. Can the private sector play a role here, and does that low confidence concern you?
Yes, of course it does. The problem with the lead story in the Business Day today is that money is private money sitting there underutilized. It may have been better put to work in industrial development, in the advancement of some new economic expansion. But money tends to be lazy, and so you avail all of that money to government debt. The owners of the capital are very happy because they know that they will get regular interest payments, and eventually the capital sum will be returned. So that's not a solution. We need to look at this issue rather differently, because we need economic expansion, but we also need opportunities for government to be able to borrow at reasonable rates and be able to repay, bearing in mind that the purpose of government is to provide public services. And if government spends all its money on debt servicing, it can't provide those public services. I think that's a circle that we need to square.
Are you worried about another crash?
Look, there are all the makings of the crash, and we don't always read it correctly. One of the most volatile currencies in the present is the US dollar. It's not that anybody in South Africa has done magnificently. It's that the decisions of the US administration, frequently capricious has an impact on the stability of the dollar. You can see this also coming through in the fact that the gold price is now more than $4,000 an ounce because people are looking for security away from the US dollar. We've got to read all of these things. The tea leaves aren't reading very well, but we've got to be informed and take our decisions early.
You spoke of rational minds. There are others who will say Trevor Manuel was the best finance minister we've ever had. Appreciate your time and your perspective this morning.
Thank you very much.
Trevor Manuel, former finance minister of South Africa.
EWN Traffic.
26 after 7, let's catch up with the roads. Amo, how are we looking at this hour?
Well, Bongani, traveling in Ekurhuleni Kempton Park this morning could be a bit of a problem due to those roadworks that are taking place on the R21 South, right near Atlas Road. Delays coming out of Pomona Road, about a 30-minute hold up there. So if you are leaving Tembisa towards the OR Tambo International Airport, do expect about a 40-minute hold up. If you are traveling within the inner city areas, Kempton Park, several delays along Pomona Road as well as Moederfontein Road and Moederfontein Road. This is just due to people trying to navigate their ways to try and avoid the R21 this morning. While traveling on the N3 North, queuing traffic between Vincent Chabalala and the Baklu interchange. Roadworks are taking place along this route, and that's the reason for that long backup. I'll have more details coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. EWN Business.
27 minutes after 7 o'clock. Mateo Haripe, we've been looking at Pick n Pay and their improvements following the low base that they were operating. And of course, the key player, the star player there, has to be Boxer.
Yeah, Boxer reporting upbeat results driven by an increase in its turnover of 22.5 billion rand and profit of 931 million. The company's headline earnings also growing to 518 million rand. Boxer is on track to achieve its target of opening more than 60 new stores for the full year. The budget retailer has been Pick n Pay's saving grace as it goes on a recovery plan. Pick n Pay holds a majority stake of about 66% in Boxer. This after it listed separately on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, this separation was part of Pick n Pay's recapitalization plan, which helped to raise around 8 billion rand to try and shore up the business for Pick n Pay. Boxer's trading momentum picked up in July and August and has remained strong in the 6 weeks since the end of the reporting period.
Right, now in the discussion so far around particularly our trade, shall we say, difficulties with the US, one of the conversation points has been what happens to our citrus growers. And what news do you have this morning? Here they are, enjoying bumper exports.
Yeah, export volumes for local citrus growers broke the 200 million cartons mark, with mandarins and lemons leading the surge. Transnet Port Terminals reporting a 19% year-on-year increase in citrus volumes handled by the end of September. This underscoring the sector's resilience and operational improvements. The Durban Multi-Purpose Terminal led the gains with 131% increase in throughput. South Africa is the world's second largest citrus export behind Spain, and growers aim to export around 260 million cartons by 2032. A very important market for South Africa.
That is very good news. All right, talk to me. Your markets?
Rand 17 Rand 35 against the US dollar, much weaker against the major currencies around the world at 20 Rand $11 against the euro and 23 Rand 14 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,175 an ounce. It's not there yet. Platinum at 1,000.
Don't contradict Trevor Manuel.
Platinum at $1,676 an ounce, while Brent crude is at $63.30 a barrel. I'll have more business for you after 8.
7:30, your time check. This Eyewitness News brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's go straight to the news desk. You've got some news on the former head of PRASA. Sfisa Zulu, good morning.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Lucky Montana says he's open to a settlement with SARS, but it has to be considerably less than the 55 billion rand that the tax agency says he owes. SARS publicly disclosed Montana's debt over the weekend after he accused the tax collector of fraud. Yesterday, Montana held his own media briefing to respond to the Revenue Service. Tabiso Koba reports.
Between 2009 and 2019, SARS flagged a number of unexplained income into Lucky Montana's bank accounts. This was at the time when Montana was heading up the country's passenger rail agency. As of August this year, Montana owes the taxman more than 55 million rand, which includes the capital amount and the accumulative interest on penalties. Montana says he plans to dispute this debt until the very end.
There's always a possibility for a settlement. I think it would be foolish of me to try and close off onto that. I'm not fighting someone, the commissioner personally, or any of his team.
The SA Revenue Service says Montana has until today to address some legal and formal requirements for compromise on his tax debts. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Legal Aid South Africa says it's extremely concerned with the delays and setbacks in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. The trial resumed yesterday after another lengthy postponement. The defense has finally opened its case, calling its first witness. Yesterday, Legal Aid's High Court Unit Manager Joshua Mojuto attended court proceedings to see whether the defense would bring an application as agreed in a prior meeting. He says as the funder of the accused's case, Legal Aid is watching proceedings closely.
Legal Aid is very concerned with the delay that we have experienced, and we have been managing the matter. We have been having meeting with the practitioner, giving specific instructions as to how, as the instructing attorney, we would like the matter to proceed.
The DA in Tshwane has submitted a motion of no confidence in Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise, accusing him of doing business with the municipality. Modise is also the finance MMC and is currently under investigation for possible conflict of interest with one of the city's service providers, Triotic Protection Services. Modise has previously admitted to owning the company, but says he resigned as its director before becoming a Tshwane councillor in 2023. The DA's regional caucus leader, Celia Brink, has accused Mayor Nasipi Moya of protecting her deputy.
In terms of the code of conduct for councillors, councillor of a municipality cannot have benefits and interests in a contract with the municipality. If that rule applies to ordinary councillors, it applies all the more to the deputy mayor and the finance MMC, who has an important role in the budget process, oversight over tenders, and is meant to drive the city's financial recovery.
And rescuers in Mexico have scrambled to reach people cut off by devastating floods that have claimed 64 lives. Torrential rains battered several states last week, turning streets into rivers, triggering landslides and sweeping away roads and bridges. Dozens of small communities remain inaccessible, and the residents have worked tirelessly to clear ways for the delivery of food and other supplies. President Claudia Sheinbaum says around 10,000 troops have been deployed with boats, planes and helicopters as part of rescue efforts and to deliver critical food and water for those trapped. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 12 and 17 degrees, peaking at highs between 28 and 30.
In the city of Tshwane, we've got heavy traffic volumes along the R80 East Mabopane Highway towards Eskom Patlele exit. Earlier on, there was an accident on the R55, and that's the reason for that long backup along the R80. And if you're traveling on the N4 west towards the Proof Plus turnoff, do expect delays coming out of Tamboti Avenue, while in Equestria, an accident has been reported. It's right on Linwood Road and Solomon Mahlangu Drive, causing heavy traffic volumes.
The top story, Lucky Montana says he's open to a settlement with SARS.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download, or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What did you make then of the explanation that the minister gave in Parliament? What interested me was how she, even before the portfolio committee, didn't mention the chief of staff as a chief of staff. She kept on referring to her as a personal assistant when she knew that she initially started as a personal assistant but later on was promoted to be the chief of staff. I mean, was that another clerical error?
Exactly, and that shocked me too, because that would seem to be a blatant instance of misleading Parliament. You know, there's no two ways about it. What is going on in that ministry? It is one of the most critical government departments in South Africa. We deserve to know what the reason is for the administrative turmoil under Sisisi Tolache's watch.
We do indeed, Rebecca, and thanks to you for not letting the story go.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
In business, there are no guarantees, but here's a guarantee you can bank on. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and get a guaranteed non-escalating premium for 12 months, even if you claim. For pharmacies, restaurants, beauty salons, convenience stores, and other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get more out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba Iron Ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
Hey, frequent flyers! FlySafair has got an innovative way to help those that travel lots save big. It's our Fly More auction, and it starts tomorrow at 7:30 a.m., giving you the chance to bid on bundles of 10 one-way domestic flights. Because when you fly a lot, buying in bulk is just better. To join, visit flysafair.co.za and create a profile now so that you're ready for when the auction action takes off tomorrow. FlySafair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongs. So, Trevor Manuel and his colleagues are trying to do a good thing. The problem is who creates debt. So you're getting guys running a country badly. They're going to be borrowing the money. Most of that money is going to be looted by them. And then the debt's left for the country to basically pay off, which they can't. So it's just a vicious cycle. Even if these guys get what they intend doing right, in another 10 years, that poverty cycle starts again because those governments will just borrow more. Most of it will get stolen. And yeah, it's a never-ending cycle, in my opinion.
Good morning, Bongani. You know, Mr. Trevor Manuel, I have all the respect for you. But this is a fruitless exercise. You're telling us about the world and their debt. Your government that you are part of right now is still borrowing money from all over the world. And secretly, they don't even tell us. We don't even know how much we owe or what that money is used for. And you are busy wanting to fix the world. What's wrong with us South Africans?
Hi, Bongani. Great interview with the former finance minister. Just my 2 cents, and I mean, I think to echo what the former minister is saying, I think the Standard Bank Group CEO has been making a lot of noise recently about the role that actually credit agencies play, in the indebtedness of the countries. And I think it's time that those two are challenged. I mean, it's not only an approach where we're looking to multilateral institutions. I think it's also a matter of interrogating the methodologies that this credit rating is used to actually rate countries, especially African countries. I mean, I think Sim Chabalala has spoken extensively about how he doesn't agree with how they actually rate some of the poorest and African countries, therefore resulting in high indebtedness of our nations. Thank you.
Oh, a lot to unpack there. I mean, I think we've got to think about, even as ordinary folk, right? We can use our own examples. The more stressed you are financially, the chances of you paying higher interest rates are much greater than if you're in a comfortable situation with hardly any debt. So I think we've got to look at it that way too. As far as Argentina, I mean, you talk about many countries borrowing and being corrupt. Well, Argentina, which is the example Trevor Manuel used, had a very persistent issue as far as debt is concerned. They had, in fact, defaulted a number of times. They've got high inflation, and they've had cycles of borrowing and restructuring, and then they start all over again. They've been highly dependent on the IMF. Economic instability has been an issue. There was a time where I think their interest rates were nearly 150%. I mean, those were some of the difficulties, and yet that is a country that the US has bailed out for political reasons. And insofar as saying that, firstly, Trevor Manuel is not part of this government, that I'm now responding to that last voice note, and they do tell us how much we owe. Listen to the medium-term budget policy statement that's coming up this very month, the mini budget as they used to call it. They'll tell you exactly what we owe. We were sitting, in fact, last year in terms of our debt to GDP ratio at around 77.1% as at 2024. They'll tell us about our projections as far as gross debt is concerned. I think it's meant to be 4.8 trillion rand, 2023 to 2024, going up to 5.2 trillion rand in this current financial year. They do tell us. We must just listen, hey?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance and your chance to win up to 3,000 rand in cash. First, 1,000 rand for the answer. And then a little later, 2,000 rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 rand. Let's go to Riabetswe for today's answer. Riabetswe, a very good morning to you. What's today's answer, please?
Morning, Bongani. Today's answer is 20.
20 is today's very moving answer. There's your clue. I'll give it to you that way. Rabetswe, tell you what, 1,000 rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. If the answer is 20, what is the question? Call us now on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
All right, Cindy Paluta, let's talk about the latest victory.
Yes.
Just always pulling the rabbit out of the hat, hey? The Proteas
women. Somebody actually tweeted me yesterday and said, I feel like the Proteas women are pulling a Springboks at this World Cup because remember we won by one. And maybe it does feel like that a bit. Maybe that's what the RSA DNA is. But the Proteas women beat Bangladesh by 3 wickets, chasing down 233 with only 3 balls to spare as Nadine de Klerk was left to snatch the win, once again smashing a 6 to literally get the team over the line with her unbeaten 37 from 29. The Proteas were in trouble on 78 for 5 before a partnership of 85 between Marzan Cup and Chloe Tryon steadied the ship. Cup went for 51 and player of the match Tryon got 62 from 69. She says the team still hasn't gelled.
Yeah, it's just nice to still find ways to get over the line. I know it's been 2 tight games, but we're still finding ways to get over the line, which is really exciting for this team. We still got a long way in the competition, so we haven't played our perfect game yet, but yeah, we're slowly getting there.
Proteas women are third on the table. They play Sri Lanka on Friday, while live on the go, the Proteas men are currently 257 for 8. They trail Pakistan by 121 runs on day 3 of the first test. Tony de Zorzi with a formidable 104 has just gone out. That was off 171 balls earlier this morning with Dummy went for 11. In the middle at the moment, you've got, let me see who's in the middle, Harmer on 14 and Subrayan on 1. India beat the West Indies this morning as well by 7 wickets on day 5 of the second test. India's win includes Jaswal's 175 and Gill's 129, while Yadav took 5 wickets. For the Windies, Campbell made 115, Hope made 103. Bafana captain Ronwen Williams is urging fans to keep the faith. The team has to beat Rwanda and now needs Nigeria to beat Benin if they are to qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup.
The faith is still there. It's just for us to go out tomorrow, once again show the team that we are, that we've been over the last few years. There's no reason to doubt the quality that we have in the team and the progress that we've made. Yes, we would have loved things to be a bit different, but it is how it is now, and the boys are ready to go again, get the job done. Still so much to play for. We know what needs to be done.
We know what needs to be done. I asked the question earlier, Cindy, and I'd really love to hear from 702 Landers. You're invited to that dressing room at 5:45, right?
The Bafana dressing room.
Yeah, 15 minutes before kickoff. Cindy Paluta is here to motivate the boys. What would you say?
Yeah, ne.
Motivate the boys. Motivate.
The thing with life. And then I would just leave it there. Kickoff is at 6. And then I would do the Hunger Games sign where you kiss your two fingers and you hold them in there and be like, Godspeed. Last night, Cape Verde beat Eswatini 3-0 to qualify for the World Cup for the first time ever, the second smallest nation in history to do so. In the Premier League, Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard has a knee injury. He's out until the end of November. And All Blacks lock Patrick Tuapalatu is out for 6 months with a shoulder injury. He's replaced by Sam Darry. All Blacks play Ireland in Chicago on November the 2nd before facing Scotland, England and Wales. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Bongs and your team. 15 minutes to 6 o'clock, the kickoff of Bafana Bongani. You tell them that it's our last and final game of our lives. All our lives depend on this game. Let's be calm. Let's forget about the last result. This is the game that we're waiting for. And also, let's kill the game in the first 45 minutes so that when we come to second half, we're not panicking, we cruise. All the best to Bafana. I strongly believe that Nigeria, for the first time in their lives, will do the favor for Bafana. Max in Pretoria.
Bafana Siavenna. Bafana Siavenna. Go boys, you go boys. Alex here from Randfontein.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
Mzansi Powerball has skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140 million rand. That's the estimated jackpot this Tuesday. So play Powerball for an estimated 140 million rand today and stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, push up, play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. So it's 12 to 8. Why are there delays in Melrose, Amo?
Particularly because...
Button. Always press the button.
Yes,
do you need outsurance points when?
We do.
Press the button.
Because there's faulty traffic lights in Waverley at Scott and Collard Drive, and they are causing delays towards Melrose. And also there's queuing traffic on the Collard Drive exit towards the M1. So traffic is really nightmarish in the Melrose and Waverley areas this morning. If you're traveling around these areas, please be patient and drive with care. While traveling on the N3 North, we still have got those roadworks between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. So leaving Alexandria towards Woodmead as well as Sandton could be problematic this morning. While in the city of Tshwane, we still have got that major accident scene in Silver Lakes along Solomon Mahlangu Drive, and Linwood Road. This is due to a major accident seen right at that intersection. So please be on the lookout there and try to avoid. While on the N1 South, peak time delays as well as roadworks taking place right after the Flying Saucer exchange. Delays towards Porter Avenue, about a 20-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout. We'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seat, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland. Designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grand 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 20, let's go to Sipho in Pretoria. Sipho, what's the question?
Hello, Bongani. The question is, how many living Israeli hostages were released from Gaza, ending the 2-year war that Trump, with the world leaders, signed a peace deal in Egypt?
Yeah, you've got all your bases covered, hey? Some of those visuals were incredibly moving as some of those hostages were reunited with their families. Some of them, of course, still on a long road to recovery. Some will be in hospitals for a while, no doubt. Sipho, congratulations. You walk away with 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Now, 65-year-old Helena doesn't play around when it comes to her budget, and that's why she's thrilled to be with Outsurance, paying only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exeter, beg your pardon, the Hyundai Exeter. A 50-year-old Priya knows that she just couldn't let this deal pass her by. She now pays 1,178 Rand a month for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142 today. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, information online.
My guy, tell me how date night was.
Bro, I'm telling you, my arrival was too clean. That sporty exterior, the 1.5 turbo engine, just turns heads.
But what about date night?
Yeah, it was chilled. But the Jolly On Pro, it's on another level, bro.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Jolly On Pro from only 4,299 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that video to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 48-year-old Felicity, who now pays a low 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. With Outsurance, you get the legendary out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. SMS out to 45142. Make today the day you switch and get more out. After switching, 31-year-old Palisa now pays only 926 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Sonet. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? Get a quote today. And if Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, you can ask for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongs. I'll tell the Bafana Bafana team that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that the Springboks are doing absolutely well. We as South Africans are winners. You cannot lose. We are being watched and they want us to lose, so we have to win. Be hungry, boys. We're behind you and God bless you. We are Bafana Bafana today. Bafana Bafana is us.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
What would you say to Bafana Bafana, Kabazela? Let's ask you that question, hey? Imagine you're invited to the dressing room at 5:45. You've got to motivate the boys. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to you saying that and I thought to myself, I've been watching this Friday Night Lights
series. It's an old series from way back in the day. And you need one of those American football coaches from the movies and these series to go in there. You set some tone with the music in the background. It's like some really deep emotional music. And you just get one of them to give a speech. Because you watch these guys and you think, well, flip, I can do anything after you listen to them. I mean, remember Any Given Sunday?
Yes, of course. It's the Inches.
Was it Al Pacino?
It's the Inches, Al Pacino, yes. And
so like get some inspiration from them.
Why am I forgetting this guy's name? The actor, Al Pacino. Who was the black guy? I can so see him in my face.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Gosh.
Yes.
Oh, so that's how it works, huh? You just get a coach.
Well, watch those kind of shows and then build inspiration from that and put it into like a Zanzi feel and chat to the boys and give them some inspiration. That's what I would do.
Okay,
if I was
Kabazela.
prepared.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
You're being so slow,
this
my
is
friend.
an interesting one, and I
You're
hope
being so slow.
No, there's such a delay. Sorry, there's a delay on this line here, and it's throwing me off a bit. But let's go ahead nonetheless. So there's a really, if you're a coffee drinker and you have a Nespresso machine, you may think what I'm talking now is like, really, you didn't know that? Or maybe you had no idea either. So I have this Nespresso machine. I bought it from somebody who needed cash, and I bought it from them because they needed the cash, and it sat there basically like an ornament. Then I tried it out, and it's got this frother on the side. It's a canister, a black canister with like a silver top.
Yep.
You put the milk in, you push a button, and it warms the milk and froths the milk, right?
Right.
And I used it for a long time, and I love a latte. So I don't like froth, but I like the warm milk. So I would put the milk in this thing, I'd push the button, it would froth it. And the ratio from like nice warm milk to the froth was always out for me. I was like, this is terrible. All you would get really was a cup full of froth. So now I put it away and I just warmed the milk in the microwave. Then I came across this video on TikTok of this woman who's changed my life. So in that canister, there is a little knobby thing that you put in the bottom of this frother, right? And you can remove it. And if you remove that little device, you'll see around this device, there's like a little coil spring that you can remove.
Correct.
Then you put the device back in, and then you push the button, and it froths the milk just a little bit, but you have so much more milk and less froth. And then it makes the most beautiful lattes or whatever you want with the milk. So I looked at this and I was like, oh my goodness, I have been using this thing so wrong for so long. Now, I will admit I do not have a manual, right? Because it didn't come with a manual. I didn't buy it from the shops. But I discovered this and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Now I make a beautiful cup of coffee every morning and I'm happy. And I start the day out fantastically well. So you may be listening and thinking, you don't know this, what an idiot, and I'll take it and I'll accept it. Or you might think, well, I'm going to go home and try it. But the question, Bongles, is have you been using something completely incorrectly for so long and somebody pointed out and said, hey, why don't you do it like this? Or this is the way it's supposed to be. Or read the damn manual and you'll see that there's many things you can do with it.
All right, just Google maybe sometimes, eh? Google is still your friend. All right, that's where we'll leave it with what's gone viral and Kabazela.
702
Feedback
with Siamtanda Matiso.
Siamtanda Matiso, have you been using any appliance wrong?
I'm sure I have, but I just can't think of any right now.
You just can't think of any right now.
I really can't, but I'm sure I have.
All right, tell me, what feedback do you have?
Listen, you posed that question. Which advert stands out to you as the cheekiest and most memorable? For me, it's this one, Bongs.
I've got the Gauteng Minister of Fisheries here. You can't just be passing. Hey,
I'll blow you. I'll blow you, Mama.
In fact, I'll blow all of you, okay? I'll blow you. Everybody get down. Get down, man.
So for those who don't know, this is a Nando's ad. It's the Blue Light Brigade ad. It's that humorous take on imagining what the Blue Light Brigade would be if they tried to stop them all at a four-way stop with these different ministers. And it was so funny because you just think, oh my word, I can see all of them really doing this at the four-way stop. So that's the one that I remember. But many reminded me of that Pepsi advert where that child buys 2 cans of Coke, stands on top of them just to reach the Pepsi. That one, BMW, Beat the Bands. So it's one of those that you guys have been taking me to this memory lane.
Down this memory lane. We'll play more of them, some suggestions coming through. But I figured out the other day, I've been using the colander completely incorrectly. So you know when you may be cooking rice and you want to drain the water. So I would normally pour the rice into the colander.
That's what I do.
No, so apparently it's meant to take the colander and put it, the backside into the pot and then flip it over, and then the water comes from the front of the colander. That's how you actually meant to use it.
Wow. Well, no.
I saw this on TikTok the other day, so I tried it yesterday.
And?
It worked.
I should try it today.
Yes. More of your voice notes on 072-702-1702. And don't forget, of course, a chance for you to win some tickets to the South Africa Future Trust. That's going to be happening at the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. Stay tuned to find out how you could win.
This is EWN.
Panyaza takes action against a senior official in the health department, and Shadrack Sibiya gives his version for the breakdown in relations with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has placed the Health Department's head, Lesiba Malotana, on suspension. Lesufi says this is part of efforts to root out corruption and maladministration in the department. Last year, there was a call for Lesufi to fire Malotana after the Special Investigating Unit flagged 2 questionable contracts implicating the department head. Lesufi says he's in full support of the work done by the SIU and other law enforcement agencies. Here's Gauteng government spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga.
This action taken by the Premier is part of an ongoing assessment of officials, the work they do, the monitoring of targets, as well as their conduct. As a province, we remain committed to upholding the highest standards of accountability and ethical leadership.
Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa has urged law enforcement agencies to expedite investigations into procurement irregularities at Tembisa Hospital. He's emphasized that anyone implicated in looting tenders at the medical facility must be arrested and held accountable under the law. This follows a recent Special Investigating Unit report identifying Hangwani Maumela as one of the people who were allegedly at the center of tender fraud at the hospital. Last week, the SIU raided Maumela's Sandton home to recover nearly 900 million rand in assets. Speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria yesterday, Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya stressed that the president remains concerned about the procurement scandal.
It's worth reminding everybody that it was President Ramaphosa who signed the proclamation that has lifted the lid on the extent of the corruption and criminality in and around the Tembisa Hospital.
Magwenya says law enforcement agencies must also act.
The president calls on all law enforcement agencies to accelerate their criminal investigations into the Tembisa Hospital matter in order to expedite the arrest of all those involved without fear or favor and regardless of who they are or purported to be related to.
Suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya has told MPs that he was banned from operating in KwaZulu-Natal by the province's top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Sibiya yesterday appeared before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. He says his good relationship with Mkhwanazi turned bad when he was accused by the KZN top cop of going over his head when he instructed Mkhwanazi's deputy to carry out a task in connection with the murder of rapper Kenan Forbes, popularly known as AKA. Babalo Ndenza reports.
Shadrack Sibiya told Parliament that he was working well with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the relationship only changed when he inquired about the case involving those arrested for AKA's murder. Sbia says former Minister Bheki had asked for a briefing on the AKA murder from KZN, but he couldn't get hold of Mkhwanazi and spoke to his deputy instead.
In having a good relationship with John Mkhwanazi, I never thought he will actually make a big issue out of it. The main reason was, normally when I contact him, you find that he is busy in a meeting.
He says this angered Mkhwanazi.
Tells me that he's appointed in terms of the constitution, and then he's responsible for policing in KZN. Say from now onwards, you've got nothing to do with KZN. And now I'm being banned by the provincial commissioner to operate in KZN when in fact I'm operating nationally.
Sbia also denied any involvement in the disbandment of the political killings task team and allegations of interference leveled against him by Mkhwanazi. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Iran says U.S. President Donald Trump's call for peace in the Middle East is inconsistent with Washington's actions. Tehran's foreign ministry has released a statement hours after Trump signed a Gaza ceasefire deal. Iran says the desire for peace and dialogue expressed by Trump is at odds with the hostile and criminal behavior of the United States towards the Iranian people. Iran remains the biggest adversary of the U.S. in the region since the 1979 Islamic Revolution led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini toppled pro-Western Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Since then, the two nations have fought over a multitude of issues, including Iran's nuclear ambitions, Iran's backing of proxies in the region, and U.S. political interference. Gold is trading at $4,127.16 an ounce. The rand is at 17.39 to the dollar, 23.21 to the pound, 20.15 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.29 a barrel.
Well, traffic remains heavily backed up in Melrose along several roads due to power outage in the area. So do expect delays along Corler Drive, Scott Street, as well as Ethel Oaklands Road. Please be on the lookout there and be patient.
And in your sport, Tony Dezorzi falls for 104 as the Proteas are in a heap of trouble against Pakistan, 9 wickets down on day 3 of the second test. The Proteas women snatched a 3-wicket win over Bangladesh to move third on the World Cup table. And in a FIFA World Cup qualifier tonight, Bafana must beat Rwanda. Kickoff is at 6.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 28 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has placed the Health Department's head Lesiba Malotana on suspension.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Walking the talk, the big international story, of course, is that meeting in the Middle East yesterday in Egypt, the signing of the peace agreement, the Trump-brokered peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians. They will say Hamas, of course. The release of prisoners, that exchange yesterday. I want you to listen to Adam Parsons, who's fast becoming one of my favorite news reporters around the world. He's Sky News' Middle East correspondent, reporting yesterday as that exchange began. Nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners under that ceasefire deal with Hamas. It includes 250 serving life sentences, a number detained since October 7, and some, of course, were detained before October 7th. Some will be freed and allowed to return to the West Bank or Gaza, but others will be sent elsewhere. Whether this then means peace will hold remains unclear.
Israel has released 250 Palestinian prisoners who are serving life sentences, but most of them are not going home. According to the Palestinian Prisoners Society, 154 of them are being sent against their will to Gaza. They're going to get a choice of either staying there or being deported to another country. So that leaves 96 who are going to their hometowns. Of those, 79 are going to the West Bank. A further 9 are going to Jerusalem, and that leaves 8 who are in fact going to Gaza. That's where they're originally from. At the same time, around 1,718 Gazan detainees were also freed. People held during the war arrested after October the 7th, 2023, and detained without trial as so-called unlawful combatants. Many describe abuse, medical neglect, and months in secret detention, returning home weak and injured and traumatized.
That is indeed the situation in the Middle East. We'll keep an eye, of course, on yet another appearance by by General Shadrack Sibiya, I beg your pardon. This is the suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner. Before that, ad hoc committee in Parliament. More revelations. What did you make of what you heard yesterday? And Kawazela wants to know, what is that implement or appliance you've learned finally how to use properly?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So Mateo, I was explaining how to use the colander, which I've used for many, many a year. If you're trying to drain water out of, I don't know, a pasta or rice or whatever, I would simply pour it into the colander from the pot because it's got all those little holes and think that's how you're supposed to do it. But apparently you're meant to put the colander backside down into the pot and then turn the pot upside down, and then the water drains out and you never have to, and then you put, the pot back onto the stove.
I'm very clumsy. I would burn myself doing something like that. It sounds practical, but
So the colander must be big enough to fit onto the pot,
Yeah.
obviously. And then you just hold by the lids and you just flip it over. No? Things I've seen on TikTok, my friend. Apparently
they
that's
have
how-
the best hacks, though.
That
on
is
TikTok,
how
I
you're
will say.
supposed to
I
use
will
it.
say.
Amo, you do everything right. You like Toyota.
No, I've actually just recently learned that, if your carpet is folding on the other end and you can't straighten
Yes.
it, you just put a block of ice and you let it melt on the carpet, and then it will flatten it out. And then when it dries out, it will stay like that.
That's one of the best hacks I've had.
Jonga.
What?
It's as if she knew. Have you got cameras in my house?
Not
I have
at
a
all.
particular carpet that
Mhm.
needs exactly that.
Feisty
I'm going to
carpet.
try it. I'm going to record it and I'm going to
Please
try it
do.
and see if it works.
Please do.
Okay. What's that hack you have recently discovered? You had no idea this is how you do something. This is how you use that implement or appliance. Let us know.
Hi, Bongani. For me, it's not an appliance. It's actually my vehicle. I drive a 2022 Audi A4, and only just recently I found out that my car key can actually open and close my windows from the outside. And not only that, on my steering wheel, I've got these two. It's like I don't know what to call them, but it's like they call them pedal shifts. Now, I didn't know that I can actually drive my car manually by using the pedal shifts as well. Now, how did I find out? My cousin was driving my car over the weekend and he did stuff to my car that I've never ever done. And I've owned this vehicle since 2022. So for me, it's my car and not an appliance. Thanks.
Hi, Bongani. For me, it's the air fryer. I think it's the advice that I'm giving people, not so much that I'm taking. And a lot of people complain about the cleaning of it, and they'll put it away and pack it away and not use it because they don't want to clean it. And the advice I always give is just soak the thing. Soak it immediately after use, and the cleaning will just be so much easier. Those little sort of baking paper thingies that go in there, I don't think those things work as well because they tend to block the circulation of air, which is what the air fryer mechanism is all about. But if you want to use the basket as it is, just soak the thing immediately after use. Hot water, a little bit of dishwashing liquid, and you will love that thing forever and use it well.
So quick one. I've been using the automatic vehicle parking knob wrongly. So apparently when you park, you pull the knob to neutral and then lift up the handbrake, then push it all the way to park so that it disengages the gears. So I learned this on TikTok and I was like, okay.
Good morning, Bongani. For me, it's
this undo button, this button that looks like an undo button on aircon icons, and I did not know what it was used for. 8 years into driving, and I was driving my second car, and I was driving with someone, and it was mainly in that area, and then they just pressed that button, and I was like, what does it do? And they was like, no, it keeps the smell from outside the car. And I'm like, and yes, that's how I discovered how to keep smell out of my car, and it changed my life.
Hi, Bongani and team. So for me, it's a hymn book. I bought a hymn book because I wanted to learn some church songs, but I couldn't find the song. And the hymn book does not have an index. So I didn't use it for a while until I saw people using it at church, and it was so easy for them to find the songs. I asked one lady, and she pointed me to the back of the book. She said, ma'am, if you go to the back of the book, there's an index, and you can find the songs in alphabetical order in the index. Blood moments.
Morning, Bongani. So I discovered last week that all this time I might have been making this rice the wrong way. I read the packet this time around, and it says I must soak it for 20 minutes. Yes, you soak it for 20 minutes before cooking, then you strain that water out, and then you put it into boiling water. And guess what it does? It maintains the long grains, and it also helps to keep it fluffy, so your rice doesn't stick together like sushi rice. Oh my gosh, this has changed my life.
But there's got to be a conversation about what is that button in your car that you don't know, that you can't explain. So for me, it comes from being a dad. You know, when you've got a new car, this will happen to you guys later on in life, not yet perhaps. You've got a new car, you don't quite know what everything does. And your child says, Dad, can I press? And you're driving and you're thinking, yo, yay.
It's gonna eject your seat.
Yay. The black parent comes out. Yay. Don't touch. But the real truth of it is that you don't know what that thing is for. And I think I have had that mentality. So there are buttons in my car, even to this day. I'm not quite sure what they do.
Just press it and you'll see. Just press it. I'm so curious when it comes to technology. If I were your children, I would have went and pressed already.
No, don't touch. But as I say, there are things I can't explain. I don't know what that button does.
And you find out after the question.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just don't touch it. Let's just drive the car.
You're such a dad. Oh my God.
Just drive the car. I know how to get us from point A to point B. Don't touch anything, because the next thing, airbags will be popping out and all. Hey, no. Don't touch.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongs and the team. So the ad that was one of my favorites. It was a Pepsi ad. What happened was that boy is in a vending machine, but he's short. But the Coke button is closer to his head. So it just doesn't make sense. He puts in 2 quarters and takes out the first can and takes out the second one and puts in another money, steps on the Cokes. And then now that he is at a higher height, he's pressing for Pepsi and leaves the Cokes on the floor. So that was really amusing back in the days. Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Morning, Bongos and the team. So the ad that I feel is the most cheekiest ad I've ever seen is that Pepsi ad where a young boy goes to the vending machine and pops coins into the vending machine and pulls out 2 Cokes, and he places them on the ground and stands on them, and he pops in another coin and actually selects the Pepsi. So basically he just bought the Cokes just so he could reach the button for Pepsi. Yeah, that for me was the most cheekiest ad I've ever seen.
It must be an American ad. Don't know, because we don't do that kind of competitive advertising here in South Africa, do we?
I've seen that ad though.
Here in South Africa?
I don't remember where I saw it, but I know the ad.
Online perhaps, but...
It was on TV.
Really? Oh, that's very, very interesting. Somebody else has just texted us through the SMS line. and they like the ad called "You People" from Nando's. Do you remember that one, KG? You People from Nando's?
What is it about you people who assume I'm running from something?
Oh, that I work here. She works here. I don't work here.
Ugh. You people. Hi, lekker zelf. Duidelijk, bra. See, what is it with you people and the accents? Holland Chaya!
And you people think we all look the same?
Oh, I love that bitch.
It's beach, not bitch, auntie.
It's candy.
You know, you people.
You people. You people to me. You people.
You people are talking so loud to me. And why do you people think we like chicken so much? You people are all the same.
Ja, nonke man.
We ordered you extra hot.
EWN Traffic.
20 minutes after 8 o'clock, the South African Future Trust Summit in partnership with Standard Bank returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. Now, if you haven't bought any tickets yet, naughty, here's your chance to walk away with 5 of them. Send a WhatsApp to 072 702 1702 telling us how you would benefit from attending, and make sure you include the word SAFT with your name and ID number. The South African Future Trust Summit 2025, where bold ideas meet transformative investment, on 702. T's and C's apply. Amo?
Well, Bongani, power outage in Melrose, that's the reason for those long backups in the area. Routes like Ethel Oaklands, Pretoria Street, Scott Street, as well as Corner Drive heavily backed up this morning. This is due to those the power outage in the area while traveling. On the N1 North, we've got roadworks taking place near Malibongo Drive, causing delays. There's also queuing traffic due to more roadworks along the N3 North between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu Interchange. Remember, you can still use the M1, N1 North towards the city of Tshwane as well as Sunning Hill and Woodmead areas. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for optometrists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Here's Chrissy.
Business Outsurance is the best insurer for my business. They have great premiums, wonderful service. I know without a doubt that Outsurance has my back, and you always get something out with Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Hey frequent flyers, today's the day. FlySafair's Fly More auction starts at 7:30 a.m. this morning, giving you the chance to bid on bundles of 10 one-way domestic flights. Because if you fly a lot, buying in bulk is just better. To join the auction action, you first need to create a profile at flysafair.co.za and link your credit card. Once that's done, it's time to get bidding for affordable flights from FlySafair. FlySafair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, a very good morning to you. The big international story, of course, has to be the peace plan and the peace summit. Will it hold?
Yeah, that is the question. There are a lot of stumbling blocks that can be overcome, I'm sure, but still they're there, and we kind of know what those are. Not least about Hamas getting rid of its weapons, Israeli forces withdrawing to the correct place. We still don't know where the correct line is on that. But also the return of the dead hostages, 20 living hostages reunited with their families, which is a big and a big tick in the box. But only 4 bodies were returned. May well be that, frankly, Hamas doesn't know where they are. And given how Gaza has been bombed to smithereens, perhaps they don't exist anymore, or perhaps they just don't know where they exist anymore. So that is a sticking point. But the rebuilding of Gaza is also a big thing, overseeing the ceasefire, making sure that the right things happen, and then the rebuilding itself. And Donald Trump would not be drawn on whether he thought it should be 2-state or 1-state. In other words, whether there should be a Palestine. And he kind of fudged on that. Said many people like a 1-state solution, thinking, well, Benjamin Netanyahu, not sure about the rest of the world. That lovely staged managed event, though, in Sharm el-Sheikh, when one by one leaders came up onto the stage to shake his hand, it reminded me of my graduation ceremony at university. So, you get to shake the hand with the vice chancellor and they give you a meaningless comment as you walk off and go, what was that about? But the photo op was there. And I have to say as well, just to underline it, the raising questions and looking at the criticism and so forth. But the sheer force of Donald Trump's personality has certainly made a difference. That's what I have read and seen over and over again from observers and experts who know far more about this stuff than I, saying actually, ultimately, Joe Biden's deal was pretty similar. He didn't have the force of personality. He didn't have the weight behind it. And Donald Trump's just sheer magnetism, like it, love it, loathe it, it seems to have made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I almost did a roll call of the leaders where he was on stage saying, where's Canada, where's the UK? And you sort of see Keir Starmer sheepishly walking towards him. And I almost think he thought he was going to be allowed a moment to speak before, of course, he was sent back to stand in his original position. Adam, let's move to China now. Why are they arresting Christians there?
Yeah, well, it's an issue, of course, being someone of faith in China, because the Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party, absolutely promotes atheism and tightly controls all sorts of religions. Churches are pressured into agreeing government-sanctioned pastors. Religious freedom is a tricky one. I mean, ask the Dalai Lama. So here we have now the arrest of 30 leaders of one of China's largest underground church networks. We say underground, it's kind of like openly underground, if you see what I mean. A series of raids on Chinese Christians, basically, in a number of cities, including the founder of the Zion Church, Jin Mingli. He has 10,000 followers at churches in 40 cities across China. The thing is, we don't know where they've been detained. We don't know if they've been formally charged. We don't know if these 30 church leaders will be formally charged, and charged with what? I guess there's always the sedition call, isn't there? As the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian was asked about these 30 detainees, not aware of the case, he said. Wow, slopey shoulders or what? It is still blooming difficult to find truth and justice behind the bamboo curtain. There we are.
Now, we spoke about Trump earlier, Adam. The sheer force of his personality, tell that to the people in Oregon.
Yeah, they're not best pleased. At least some of them aren't best pleased. And there have certainly been protests against the Immigration and Customs Enforcement movement, or policy, I should say. And the building itself has come under protest. People have turned up before dressed as frogs, unicorns, and bananas. But Donald Trump may want to avert his gaze and not look homewards because they've now staged a naked bike ride in protest. Up they popped, dozens of them in the naughty naked nude on what they called an emergency edition of the World Naked Bike Ride. So risking arrest in the process, risking arrest whilst naked. Some, I have to say, wore woolly socks and hats, which is only appropriate given it was 12 degrees Celsius and rainy. Count me out. I mean, I'm from where I'm from. 12 degrees and rainy and naked on a bike? I don't think so.
We'll have to leave it there. You lost me at naked on a bike. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Talk business news now. Muteo Kharipa, 28 after 8. These citrus growers enjoying bumper exports, and I'm curious about who's buying.
I'll tell you in a moment. Export volumes for local citrus growers broke the 200 million cartons mark, with mandarins and lemons leading the surge. Transnet port terminals reported a 19% year-on-year increase in citrus volumes handled by the end of September, this underscoring the sector's resilience on operational improvements. The Durban multi-purpose terminal led the gains with a 131% increase in throughput there. South Africa is the world's second largest citrus exporter behind Spain, and growers aim to export around 260 million cartons by 2032. Now, South Africa's main citrus export markets are the EU, the Middle East and Asia, with key countries including the Netherlands, the United Arab Emirates, Russia and the UK.
All right, Boxer back on track now to expand operations. Profit close up to R1 billion.
Yeah, this is sounding like a consistent story. I think they're playing off that ShopRite playbook, going to South African consumers in the townships and where they can be served. Boxer reporting upbeat results are driven by an increase in its turnover of 22.5 billion rand, with profit nearly R1 billion at 931 million. Boxer is on track to achieve its target of opening 60 stores for the full year, with 25 new stores opened in the first half of the year. Pick n Pay holds the majority stake of 66% in Boxer stores, and it's been leaning on that a lot as it goes through that recovery plan. The separation between the two companies are raising around 8 billion rand, which Pick n Pay has used to pay off some debts. Boxer's trading momentum picked up in July and August and has remained strong in the 6 weeks since the end of the reporting period.
All right, talk to me. Where's the rand?
Down more than 0.5% this morning, 17 Rand 40 cents. I haven't said that in some months. At 20 Rand 16 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 18 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,120 an ounce, while platinum is a little low at this hour at $1,638. Brent crude at $63.01 a barrel. That's for those petrol and diesel prices. That's the morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news. The Special Investigating Unit is making a dent. Swiso Zulu, good morning.
That's right, Bongani. This is into a probe of corruption at the National Lotteries Commission, which has been significantly expanded through a new proclamation issued by President Cyril Ramaphosa. It extends the time frame to investigate allegations of maladministration by 5 years up to 10 October this year. The widened scope has been prompted by witness testimony during the current probe, which has been ongoing since 2020. It's already led to millions of rands in assets obtained through the looting being seized. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
The new proclamation adds 21 categories of procurement and contracting to the existing investigation. These include a wide range of services in which it's alleged that procurement processes were flouted and public funds were misused. The newly added matters that will now be investigated include the contracting of a panel of attorneys, the appointment of a service provider for an employee wellness program, and contracts to some of the country's biggest media houses. Quirkier contracts include for a Women's Day flash mob, to investigate an alleged hacking incident involving board documents, and to deliver an ethics course. SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago.
The SIU is now authorized to investigate whether the procurement of and contracting for these services was conducted in a manner that was not fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, or cost-effective.
The SIU's initial investigation has been divided in 3 phases, valued at around 2 billion rand. The third phase is about to conclude, with civil litigation set to follow. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
Former PRASA head Lucky Montana says he's open to a settlement with SARS, but it has to be considerably less than the 55 million rand that the tax agency says he owes. SARS publicly disclosed Montana's debt over the weekend after the MKMP accused the tax agency of fraud, and yesterday Montana held his own media briefing to respond to the Revenue Service. Tabiso Goba reports.
Between 2009 and 2019, SARS flagged a number of unexplained income into Lucky Montana's bank accounts. This was at the time when Montana was heading up the country's passenger rail agency. As of August this year, Montana owes the taxman more than 55 million rand, which includes the capital amount and the accumulative interest on penalties. Montana says he plans to dispute this debt until the very end.
There's
always a possibility for a settlement. I think it would be foolish of me to try and close off onto that. I'm not fighting someone, the commissioner personally, or any of his team.
The SA Revenue Service says Montana has until today to address some legal and formal requirements for compromise on his tax debts. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And rebel fighters linked to the Islamic State group have killed at least 19 people in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The region bordering Rwanda with abundant natural resources has suffered extreme violence for more than 3 decades, often at the hands of armed insurgent groups. Officials say the Allied Democratic Forces, an organization founded by former Ugandan rebels who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group, raided the village of Mukondo in Lubero territory and slaughtered 19 people on Sunday. Ugandan soldiers have been deployed alongside the Congolese army since 2021 to fight the ADF, but the joint operation has failed to end the violence. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 28 and 31.
And in the traffic, we still have got heavy traffic volumes on the R21 south in the Kempton Park area between Pomona Road and Atlas Road due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 north. In fact, bumper-to-bumper delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange due to roadworks.
The top story this hour, the SIU has a unit's probe into corruption at the National Lotteries Commission has been significantly expanded.
Change is an unannounced visitor. It can derail you or delight you. It's pushy, inescapable, intriguing. Change is motivating. Change is action. Change has places for you to be. Change is opportunity. We always have our door open to it. For over 3 decades, we've been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Mzansi, Powerball has skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140M today. That's the estimated jackpot. So play Powerball for an estimated 140 million rand this Tuesday, and you stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. You can buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, push up, play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. So on Fridays, on 702 Breakfast, we have the G20 Correspondence Desk, and it's brought to you by RMB and FNB. They're, of course, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. So the latest news, views, insights, breakthroughs. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
So for me, it wasn't a hack. It was more of my car when I found out that my car can park itself. And this is a year after ownership. So I'm indicating into a parking and the car starts turning itself. So I had to pause for a moment because I was so shocked. And I'm like, flash twice if you are a transformer. Because I was so sure the car was about to transform. But yeah, great show.
Bongani morning. So yeah, here's a lekker one. If you have got a song on your head and you really don't know what the name is and you flip and look all over and you search the lyrics, you can't find it. Go to YouTube, use the microphone feature and hum the song. It'll tell you to keep on humming, and it actually finds the song. Brilliant. Cheers, Brian Rambo.
So for me, it's with my car. It's a Jeep Wrangler, the latest model. One day, my child it presses this button, but I've had it for over months. It's been a year now. And the other day it says, did you know that you can start your car from outside? So you can cool it. By the time you get in, the car is warmed up, or it's cooler if it's parked in the sun. And so I can start my car from outside and I can switch it off from outside. I didn't know that's what that thing was there for. And I never even wondered or bothered to check.
Morning, Bongani. I guess it's just a new use of an appliance. I now use a whisk to make my avocado salad. You cut it in half horizontally, and then you scoop it up using your whisk that fits in. How you do that, you just place the whisk in the center with the pit out, and you turn your whisk, and hey presto, you've got perfectly blocked avocado for your salads. Also learn from TikTok.
Hi, Bongani and the team. Yeah, no, on that calendar thing, I disagree. I do not care what the correct method, the so-called correct method is. I saw that a couple of years ago, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not practical. For me, taking the pot and pouring all the contents in the colander, water drains out, you've got your stuff, you just pour it back in the pot. That is perfect. Most convenient, works, avoids any spills. That whole thing, put the colander in the pot. Like, I think I agree with Mateo. What if the pot, what if an accident happens and then the whole contents pour out? It's almost as if, like we grew up before before we started using colanders. You just put the lid, for example, if you're draining rice, you just put the lid, open it a little bit on the pot, and then you pour it out. Accidents happened. So now you're telling me I must use a colander and I can still have the same risk? No.
Don't knock it till you try it. There's going to be cooks all around 702 land now trying to use the colander in a different way. Just listen to the rest of the week. I will be getting voice notes about whether or not it actually worked. We're talking about those things that you don't quite know how to use. You've owned your car for a long time, and there's buttons you don't know. So I was saying to Mateo off air, Cindy, my review mirror is now connected to the camera at the back of my car. So as I'm driving, I can actually see the cars behind me much more clearly and much more closely than I used to. I do not know. And again, for context, I've owned this car since 2022, if not 23. I've had it for a while, in other words, at least 2 years. I do not know what I did, but I like it that way. Because I'm that parent when the kids say, Dad, what does this do? Don't touch. Because I don't know what it does. So, yeah. Is there something you've learned how to use lately that you didn't know? You thought, oh, is that how that works?
Oh, a neck pillow when you travel. So a neck pillow when you travel, everybody thinks that you're supposed to wear it around the back of your neck and clip it in the front. That makes absolutely zero sense, because when you put it around the back of your neck and you try lean back, it gets in the way of you. And you're actually, I saw a TikTok, you're either supposed to turn it completely the other way, so the clip is actually at the back, so that you can so that your chin is held up and you can lean left to right, or sideways. So put the clip either by your right ear or the clip either by your left ear, and then lean that way, which makes total sense because that holds your head up. But when you've got it clipped to the front, your neck is constantly dropping, which is what you're trying to avoid.
I was this year's old.
EWN Sport.
All right, live test cricket on the go.
Yes, right.
In fact, we thought we had another wicket, but I think Rabada, it was a no ball. He went over the line. So, no, not that one. What's the score?
So, day 3 of the first test. Pakistan are currently 26 for 1 in their second innings. They've lost all Haq, who was stumped by Brainy very early on off harmer. They lead by 135 after having the Proteas all out for 269. Dazorzi made 104, his second century in test cricket. Rickleton made 71 as the remaining batsmen scored 20 or less for Pakistan. Norman Ali took 6 wickets. Sajid Khan took 3. I've literally written the same thing again. Live Test cricket on the go, day 3 of the first test. Let me move on to the next one. Earlier, India beat the West Indies by 7 wickets on day 5 of the second test. In 23 years, the West Indies have only beaten India once in a test.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
That's
that
a
stat?
record, hey?
It's either like draws or losses. For India, Jaswal made 175. Gil made 129. And Dove took 5 wickets for the Windies. There was also centuries for Campbell and Hope. At the Women's World Cup, the Proteas beating Bangladesh by 3 wickets to go third on the overall table. They play Sri Lanka on Friday. The top 4 teams make the semi-finals. The Proteas chasing 233 were in trouble on 78 for 5 before a partnership of 85 between Cap and Tryon steadied things. Cap went for 51. Tryon got 62 from 69, and it was once again Nadine de Klerk who smashed a 6 to give the side the win. Here's Tryon.
It looked like the conditions were still the same. The pace bowlers were coming on really nicely, but we knew the spin was going to be a bit of a challenge. I think they were really smart to the way that they bowled. You know, they tested us quite a bit, so we just knew we had to be patient. And like I said, just keep it as nice and simple and just tick it over as much as we could, and hopefully they can look for wickets and we can capitalize on overs.
Huge game for Bafana tonight, having to beat Rwanda and hope Nigeria beats Benin if they are to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. Coach Hugo Broos has urged fans to back Lyle Foster, who's come under fire for missing chances in the draw with Zimbabwe. Foster sat out of training yesterday. Hugo Broos reiterated that whomever starts tonight at 6 p.m. will be the right 11 for the job.
We have to be confident and believe in the players who are there. I give them, from my side, my confidence and my trust, and then see what happens tomorrow. But again, this is not a coach who are doubting now about what will happen tomorrow, of doubting about qualities of some players or players who are not there.
Kickoff at Mbombela tonight is at 6 p.m. And last night, Cape Verde beat Eswatini 3-0 to qualify for the World Cup for the first time ever in the country's history. They're the second smallest nation after Iceland to do so. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN traffic.
All right, it's 8:45 on the nose. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. It's been a busy morning.
It has been busy indeed, Bongani, especially if you're traveling within the Kempton Park areas, and that's due to those long-term roadworks that are taking place along the R21 South. At this particular moment, I'm seeing ease of traffic volumes, but you can still expect delays while traveling along at this road. We've got an accident right near the R21 turn-off causing delays. Traveling on the N3 North, queuing traffic between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks, while in Melrose, power outage reported, and that's the reason for several junctions that are out of order in the area, including Scott and College Drive, as well as College and Ethel Oaklands Road. So please be patient if you're traveling around the Melrose area. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Josie's about to bring the heat. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, happening Saturday, the 8th of November at 5 o'clock. You can run 5K or 10K, run, walk, or just soak up that Josie summer air. Not tough enough? If you've ever sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, or climbed stairs when the power was out, your training's already begun. So grab your crew, lace up, and move Josie forward. Find the Discovery Vitality Chicken Run on racepass.com to enter. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's. It's a run for everyone.
So Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to WeBuyCars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about WeBuyCars?
All of my friends are using WeBuyCars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded.
WeBuyCars, geared for success, geared for you.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Clement Manyatela on the radio between 9 and 12. Clement, so much going on. I've been asking everyone something not news related or politics or current affairs.
Okay.
You are called into the Bafana dressing room at 5:45 this evening, 15 minutes before kickoff. Motivate the boys. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm a terrible person for that. I need to be motivated to motivate them.
What's on the show?
I think you've done that already.
Yes. You know a flat tire. You know when it goes...
I am not a motivator. I really am not. But that's what I want the listeners to do today. So I want them to send some positive vibes because we need to win this game at Mbombela Stadium. And we need Nigeria to beat... who are they playing again?
Benin.
Benin. Is it also today?
Yes.
Yes.
Same time.
And we need them to beat
Same
Benin.
time.
Same time. So please send some positive vibes for Bafana. That's on the 702 open line. We're going to reflect on the post-war plan for Gaza. Donald Trump really excited about this peace plan. There will be a conference to discuss what the post-war is going to look like. So we'll talk about that and what Shadrach Sibia said yesterday. But at 10 o'clock, we're going to be in conversation with Lebogang Maile, Finance MEC in Gauteng. At 11 o'clock, we do our World of Work feature. Today, we're talking about sourcing and accessing grants for small businesses. And then 11:30, we wrap up the show with our health and wellness feature. We're talking about kids' wellness today.
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
It won't just be minds in a room. It'll be futures in the making. Are you ready to claim yours? The South African Future Trust Summit on 702. Your summit, your way.
The South African Future Trust Summit's Premium Entrepreneurial Showcase returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. In partnership with Standard Bank, the summit will bring together entrepreneurs with bold ideas and big ambition. Join masterclasses with industry experts who will share valuable knowledge on relevant topics and seize the opportunity to pitch your business ideas to leading investors. Book your seat now at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702. We asked you to WhatsApp us your name to 072 702 1702 and tell us how you would benefit from attending. We've got Sandiso in Rosebank. Sandiso, a very good morning to you. Tell us how you would benefit if you attended the South African Future Trust Summit.
Good morning, Mr. Bongani. I definitely feel I'd benefit by just, immersing myself with a lot of, knowledge in as far as capital raising and other methods, that actually help in at least, helping my foundation in terms of business and everything that, will help me to perhaps catalyze, every business endeavor that I want to partake to in the near future. So I think the platform more and above just to learn and to expose myself.
Who would you go with?
Right now, I still am trying to, jot, the people that would be eligible. I don't know right now.
All right. You might want some people that you're working with to come with you as part of those expansion plans. Sandiso, congratulations. You have won 5 tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit. Thanks to the South African Future Trust Summit 2025, where bold ideas meet transformative investment. For a chance to win, join us tomorrow. We'll give away some more tickets.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9. We're speaking to Izinga Assist. Their CEO and founder, Derek Lubner, will be in conversation with us, and we do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
The South African Future Trust Summit is back and bolder than ever. This year, Standard Bank joins as headline sponsor, underscoring the summit's role as South Africa's leading platform for entrepreneurship. On 5 and 6 November at the Sandton Convention Center, connect with leading entrepreneurs, investors, and change makers. This is where bold ideas meet transformative investment. Get your tickets now at summits.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We're talking cheeky ads. Veronica, you've called in. What's your fave?
Hello.
Hi, Veronica. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes,
Bongani.
we're talking about those cheeky ads. What's your favorite?
The Rolo, Too Good to Share. I don't think you will remember it. It was way back in the late 80s, early 90s. The Rolo chocolate with the elephant.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, my favorite. Yes.
All right,
Too
thank
good
you.
to share.
Thank you, Veronica.
Okay.
Morning, Bongani and the team. My cheeky ad goes to Nando's versus Santam. You know, when Nando's copied that Santam advert of T's and C's, when there was a Santam ad, there was a waiter or barman behind the bar, and then he changed his clothes 4 times, and they're like, it's easy to miss T's and C's, and then Nando's copied them with their own version of changing the menu 4 times, and but Santam also responded back, and it was back and forth. I think that was one of the best cheeky adverts from that's from Williams Hunting.
And isn't it amazing how they get away with it every single time? Well, talking about Nando's, here's something to get you buzzing. Imagine running through the heart of Johannesburg at sunset. The smell of Nando's flame grilled chicken in the air, music pumping, thousands of people moving for a good cause. And that's exactly what the Vitality Chicken Run is all about. It's a first of its kind night run, and it's brought by Discovery Vitality and Nando's. And it's not just about fitness, it's about community. So the idea is to go from Nelson Mandela Bridge to Gandhi Square, runners experiencing the city like never before, whilst of course helping feed the needy. We are joined now by Jessica Wheeler, who is the Nando's marketing director. Jessica, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Hi, Bongani.
This is an innovative idea, an evening run through the streets of Johannesburg.
Yeah, well, I mean, in true Nando's fashion, we weren't going to do it like everybody else did it. So we figured we'd get everybody into the CBD at sunset and come and see the amazing changes that are happening in and around the Joburg CBD.
I suppose that's one of the first questions to ask. You want to do this on a Saturday, and I think kickoff is at 5 p.m. Some people might be concerned, especially those who haven't been in the CBD for a while. Will it be okay? Will we be safe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've enrolled all the assistance we can from a safety point of view, from the SAPS to the JMPD, and a lot of community forums as well, and you know, people from the community that are coming out to keep everybody safe. And then obviously also leaned on, you know, systems like the integrated car train and PRASA rail system that have been super helpful at the Ellis Park rugby events. So we're pretty confident that we've done the best we can to keep everybody safe and to get everybody onto the streets of Joburg.
So the idea would be then, I imagine, to use the Gau train to get to Park Station and then make your way towards Mandela Bridge with obviously the necessary security provided.
Yeah, so we're kicking off at the Ellis Park precinct, so that's where your final destination and the starting point would be. So hop on a car train, head to Park Station, and then get onto one of the PRASA trains, the cost of which is included into the ticket for the run anyway. And it's very quick and simple, and the PRASA range will be running extended hours to accommodate people who want to leave afterwards.
All right, and of course, if it was safe for rugby, there's no reason why it won't be safe for this run. Now, it's not just about the fitness and the community, although all of those will be lovely things. A lot of this helps feed needy children.
Yeah, I mean, Nando's has always been committed to making sure that we use our presence as a force for good and a force for change. So we've committed for every runner that finishes that finish line, you will get an amazing medal, but equally so we will feed the children in the Lawrenceville community, which is where our head office is.
For the first time, I think as well, we're going to be seeing runners and families coming together. How do people enter?
So it's Pretty simple. All you've got to do is check out Vitality South Africa on social media. Or if you are a runner and you're used to the process, you just head to racepass.com. It is an accredited run, so you'll find all the entry details there. Just search for Vitality Chicken Run.
We were having a conversation, of course, about an entirely different subject, talking about cheeky ads. And no doubt you would have sat in part of those decisions. Have you ever thought, gosh, no, guys, that might be taking it too far?
All the time. Then we know we're on the right track.
I mean, because that's the thing. When you go for that kind of strategy, which has, of course, worked so brilliantly for Nando's, you can sometimes get it wrong. How do you get it right every single time?
I can assure you that there are plenty of times we get it wrong. I think, it comes with having done this for 38 years and having established almost the credibility to be a voice of the people and to say the things that we have said. So it's done over a long amount of time, but there are plenty of us that are involved in the process, and we hold each other accountable and make sure we don't tread too far over those lines.
And I suppose part of it has to be fitting in with the zeitgeist and the mood and understanding not just your customers, but understanding South Africa and just this loud, boisterous place we are.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa continues to be perfect fodder for creatives. It is. We keep saying South Africa is a movie, and it's absolutely right. It's following the zeitgeist, following what people are saying without saying it explicitly, and that's really where the really great work comes from. And I think you'll find over time that zeitgeist is changing, and we are seeing a difference in the way that people speak about South Africa, particularly on social media, which is a great place to go and find creative inspiration. So we're seeing a change. Us ourselves are experiencing that change, so we're very excited.
All right. Well, listen, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. This is happening. This is the Nando's Vitality Chicken Run, brought to you by Discovery Vitality and Nando's. And as I say, it is happening on Saturday, the 8th of November. Am I correct? That's Saturday, the 8th of November from 5 p.m. And you can get all the routes to make sure you're a part of it. Get the Gautrain to Park Station. Park Station will take you straight to Ellis Park on those Prasa trains. It's been done before. It's safe. Come out with the family and let's all have some fun. Jessica Wheeler there, Nando's Marketing Director.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And before Clement smacks me on the back of my head, I'm going to say goodbye. It's a minute after 9.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has placed the Health Department's head Leseba Malotana on suspension. Lesufi says this is part of efforts to root out corruption and maladministration in the department. Last year, there were calls for Lesufi to fire Malotana after the Special Investigating Unit flagged 2 questionable contracts implicating the department head.